What do you think contributes to obesity in our Mexican community?
For sure, the biggest contributor is bad eating habits.
A lot of our meals were made from poor people.
Yeah, dude.
From poverty. Like, all right,
bro.
Leftovers, fuck it. Let's fry it and then put some salsa on top of it. And all of a sudden it's chilaquiles.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You know, like,
And
bro, you posted 5 tacos de carnitas under 500 calories. And I said, show me, dog.
And that's the thing. So, and the reason that they're at 500 calories is because, bro, I want to make meals that if you come home, your wife makes, everybody could enjoy. And you can still stay on your weight loss goals or whatever your health and fitness goals are. And at the same time, you're teaching, good habits to your kids.
This is the True Hustle Podcast with your host, JR.
This is the True Hustle Podcast with your host, JR.
So, first of all, welcome to Cali, bro. You know, I know that you flew all the way out here just to be on True Hustle Podcast. What?
Yeah, of course.
But this is the way I want to start this, bro. We had a clip that you reshared and you didn't agree, which respectfully, I mean, you know, everybody has their opinion. Where I asked Jesus, what contributes to our problems in our community in terms of health issues?
Right.
You know, and I said, and one of them is obesity.
Obesity, yep.
Okay. And I asked him, what exactly did I say? Or how I say? Something along the lines that,
like, what do you think it is?
What do you think contributes
Yeah, there you go.
to obesity in our Mexican community? So now I'm going to let you say your piece. What do you think is the biggest contributor?
I think, like, for sure, the biggest contributor is bad eating habits. But those eating habits were not something that we were ever taught were bad. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, ¿tienes hambre? Just eat, right? Like, it has never been a thing where it's like, it's okay to be a little hungry. You know what I mean?
Hártate.
Yeah. No, ¿tienes hambre? Like, right away.
Come.
And it's whatever. You know what I mean? It's not going to be anything balanced. It's lo que haya. All right? Lo que haya.
True. You ain't lying.
You know? And as some of it obviously comes from, you know, the poverty side of it. But that's what makes Mexican food so freaking good, dude. You know what I mean?
And you brought something up very important that I don't think a lot of people are aware, that a lot of our meals were made from poor people.
Yeah, dude. It's
from poverty. Like, all right,
bro.
Leftovers, fuck it. Let's fry it and then put some salsa on top of it, and all of a sudden it's chilaquiles.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You know, like.
And my wife is like, I always make the joke, my wife is as white as sheetrock. Like, she's like, you know what I mean? And so when I first met her, I was like, I know how to cook. And she was kind of like, okay, you know, like, how well could this guy know how to cook? And I started cooking for her, and she was like, holy cow, like, you really know how to cook. Yeah. And so then I started introducing her to authentic Mexican food and not the Americanized stuff. And she was just like, oh my God. But then, like, her not even just asking questions was like, wait a minute, so chilaquiles or tortillas with salsa and you know this, but enchiladas are, you know what I mean? And so and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, holy cow, yeah, that's right. Everything is just like le cambiamos one little thing to make a whole new meal. And at times I never thought of it until she pointed it out, and then eventually when I started making content, I was like, man, this almost seems like I'm making the same video, but I just like unfolded everything. You know what I mean?
It's like the taco.
Yeah.
The taco, you fold it.
Yeah.
The enchilada, you roll it. And you just dip it in sauce. And then the chilaquiles, you break them in pieces and you fry them and you throw the same sauce that you would probably use on enchilada. Like,
you see what I mean?
Yeah. The same.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But with that being said, that is part of the game when it comes to weight loss. It's a mind game, dude. I tell people, the moment when you realize that a lot of this stuff is a freaking mind game, dude, everything starts making sense and it starts getting a little bit easier, right? Like, once you can, for me, it's almost like I'm tricking my brain, right? I can have, let's say, these aren't exact numbers, but you know, this is about what it would be, you know, 300 grams of watermelon carb and calorie wise is the same as like 60 grams of banana, right? But the volume increased so much with the watermelon compared to the banana, but it's going to be the same calories and the same carbs, right? If you're really hungry, you put some tajin on 300, or whatever amount of watermelon, you're chewing more, you're getting more, right? You feel like you're eating more. It's the same macros, but you just feel like you're eating more, right? So same thing with la comida mexicana. That's what makes it so easy to lose weight, because if you do pre-cook some chicken and you got some tortillas, you can make tacos dorados, you can make enchiladas, you can make chilaquiles, you can make regular tacos. You see what I mean? And it's just like, it's the same food, it's the same ingredients, you're just plating them different. But if you're on a time crunch and you need a meal prep for the week, that's all. I've made multiple videos on it. Cook your protein. Cook some asada, cook some chicken. Now you got, if you're going to cook asada, let's say you want to, you're going to want a leaner meat and a fattier meat for the week. That's kind of how I look at it, because you're going to have to get some fat into your diet. Or if you do both lean, then maybe some aguacate. But let's just say you're going to do one fattier cut of meat and one leaner cut of meat, right? You can do some, the pollo mexicano that they sell at the carnicerias that's already marinated. That's usually chicken thighs.
Okay.
That's going to be a fattier cut, right? So you buy your chicken thighs. Excuse me. You buy your chicken thighs, and then you choose now a leaner protein, which would be like espaldilla, right? Okay. Or you could do milanesa. That's gonna be right, leaner.
Diezmillo?
Okay, if you want to do diezmillo, then switch your chicken now to a leaner cut, chicken breast, right? You see what I mean? So you can keep that way. You keep things balanced out. Yeah. If you do diezmillo and the chicken thighs, you can do it, but now throughout your day, you're going to have to figure out where you're going to cut fat from. Okay. You know what I mean? And some people might be okay with that. Some people might be like, you know what, dude? I'm going to have chicken thighs and diezmillo, but in the morning, I'm only going to have egg whites. Right? Or someone's like, you know what? I'm going to have regular eggs, chicken thighs, and espaldilla. Right? So you have fat, lean. You got to keep that balance, right? And that's just me hypothetically speaking of a balance, but there's exact numbers you got to follow.
How do you know what cuts are healthier? What choices are healthier? How did you learn that? Because I know that I have that question, and the majority of our audience is going to be like, well, ¿cómo?
Yeah.
Like, how do we know what is the healthy choice? That is the problem with our community. Yeah. Is that we are not aware with what the healthier choices are. And there's a lot of, for me, I'm like, is there such thing as a healthy tortilla?
Yeah.
I'm confused. I'm like, this guy is super ripped. We worked out together. And I see your meal plans and I'm like,
how?
Convince me, bro. The chicharrones are healthy, dog. Break it. I just don't understand because.
Here's the hardest part for me to grapple with, and I have friends who are nutritionists, and even when we ask each other, I'm not a nutritionist, right? I'm just a dude who tracks his macros and has done it, learned from a coach. Shout out to Maria.
Maria.
She helped me out with a lot of this, me and my wife. So. But what we were saying is, how do you determine what's healthy and what's not healthy, right? So right now my macros are, I think right now I'm at like 2,500 calories a day, and I forget the exact amount of protein. I can see it I can look at it on my phone and stuff, but I have a set amount of protein, a set amount of carbs, and a set amount of fat, right? And my goal is to be within 5 grams of each one of those macros. Okay. So let's say I need 200 grams of protein. I need to be at either 195 or 205 grams of protein for the day. Let's say carbs, I have 300. I need to be at 295 or 305 carbs, right? How I choose to get there is my choice now. So if I want to eat 305 grams of carbs of tortillas only, I can do that. But that now doesn't leave me room for any more carbs for anything throughout the day, right? So when you ask what is healthy, I mean, it depends. What if a regular tortilla is gonna help me hit that macro goal? Did the regular tortilla now become healthier because it's helping me hit that? Or is it just a tortilla that's helping me hit that, right? So why would we go with the low carb option then? The reason I go with the low carb option goes back to the mind game. You're eating more. You get more. So you're seeing 2 tacos with regular tortillas and a fattier cut of meat because fat is going to be higher in calorie. 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. If you switch it to a leaner cut, that's going to be a little bit higher in protein, right? Protein is 4 grams, or 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. And then you reduce the amount of, you don't reduce the amount of carbs, but you get more out of your tortilla by going to a low carb option now, because 2 regular tortillas, let's say, equals the same as 4 low carb tortillas. These little swaps back and forth, you just did what I said in the beginning with the watermelon and the banana. Yeah. You made those 2 tacos into 4, right? And
so it's the same amount, but just
different, however you want to do it. I have a buddy named Frank who, that dude, he's more like, bro, I don't care. I just want to hit my macros. I don't care. If it means I just eat 3 burritos throughout the day, then that's it. And then you got people like me who are like, dude, I used to be a fat ass, man. Like, I need a good breakfast. I need a good lunch. You know what I mean? Like, I need variety throughout the day. And so that sometimes makes it a little bit more complicated for me and other people, especially when you're first starting, because your diet's everywhere, right? Your diet's everywhere. So you're trying to figure out, like how you said, what is healthy. But if you go by the healthy protein bars and you finish the whole box and it puts you on a calorie surplus, is it still healthy?
No. Anything in excess is bad, right?
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, so it's when that word of like, what is healthy, it becomes very hard, because who are you talking to? If somebody's trying to bulk, right? If you're trying to bulk and you need to be on a calorie surplus, you're gonna only be able to eat so much before you start feeling sick and stuff. And that's what like Ronnie Coleman and all those big dudes always talking about. Like, this is the part that nobody talks about, right? And they're scooping egg whites and all that, because they're just in all that rice, because they're just trying to get in the calories, right? If I eat the same amount of rice as they were back in the day at my size, well, I'd be puking.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, it's too much. It's an excess. So did the rice become unhealthy? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't become unhealthy because
So that's a great point, because I hear a lot of people saying, eliminate rice.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
why?
But why?
Yeah.
I'm not a nutritionist, so that's a good question. So you're telling me rice, especially Mexican rice.
Yeah. It's just
Mexican rice could be healthy if you have well proportioned sizes of it.
Yep.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yep. It's all about
So
the
what
size.
would be an ideal well proportioned size meal with that bomb ass Mexican rice we have, bro?
So for me, if you notice, I think I want to say about 95% of my meals that I have posted are all under 500 calories.
I know.
Which is crazy, right?
Bro, you posted 5 tacos de carnitas under 500 calories. And I said, show me, dog. Bro, this is crazy, bro. Like, and then another one with chicharrón. No, my
yeah, what'd you say? What does this dude do?
I'm like, all right, bro. You're going to have to show me, because I love to eat, bro. So,
and that's the thing. So, and the reason that they're at 500 calories is because, for me, again, how I started, I was big. I was obsessed with eating. I wanted to, dude. Even last night when I flew in, it was like 10:30, and I'm FaceTiming my wife, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I want to fucking eat. Like, I want to eat like that." And then I'm like, "Dude, I'm in like LA right now. There's so much food out here. Like, this is a foodie town. Like, I want to eat, And it's all in my head that I want to eat. So when I started prepping my meals, I would always try to keep them at that 500, because then I could have 5 meals. You know what I mean? Potentially, I could have 5 meals throughout the day, right? And the less I snacked, the more like the meal I got, right? So when I'm like a well balanced meal, let's say you're gonna try to target what your daily macro split is. So I do a 40%. So out of my 2,500 calories that I'm eating a day, 40% are carbs, 30% are protein, and 30% are fat. So ideally, my meals should look the same way. So if it's 500 calories, right, 40% should be protein, 30% should be carbs. That would be like the ideal thing. Sometimes I can't do that, and that's okay, because I'll just supplement whatever I didn't have there with a snack, right? Okay. Oh, I didn't have enough protein, and I didn't need any fat, and I didn't need I needed very little carbs. I'll have like a cheese stick, right? A low-fat cheese stick. So that's also half the battle there, is knowing what's out there to eat, right? So as you're trying to balance out your meals, every meal you have, there's going to be, sometimes you'll make a little bit of a sacrifice to where you're, like I said, back to the egg white example, right? You'll be like, oh, in the morning, I want to do some regular chorizo instead of turkey chorizo. But if I had eggs, that's going to add a ton of fat to that morning meal. And now I'm not going to have very much fat for the afternoon, right? And some people are okay with that. They'll be like, okay, I'll do that because I want to have the regular chorizo, the regular eggs.
Okay.
So then now your meals in the afternoon might look a little bit leaner, right? And I guess a better way to explain it is the way that your calorie intake is and the way you're breaking down your macros, think of it like a paycheck, right? You get your paycheck on Friday, and you can go out to the bar, mariscos, blow it, right? Te gastas un chingo de feria. And then the rest of the week, you're struggling, right? You all know that one guy by like the day before payday, hey, wait, let me borrow like $20, dude. Tomorrow I got you, right? Same thing with your calories throughout the day. You can find one spot to like, I'm going to go have Krispy Kreme. Or I'm going to go have, you know what I mean? Un pan dulce. I'm going to have, and then you're going to have to sacrifice some of that money you spent throughout the day. And you can. You know what I mean? You can. And once you learn how to do that with what you're okay, saying, dude, I'm going to go have that donut. You know what I mean? And then I'll supplement it throughout the day. Is that really a bad thing if it helps you stay on track with the calories you're supposed to be eating?
So as long as you keep a balance of the macros,
yep,
you could really eat whatever the hell you want.
Eat whatever you want. And then that goes back to what you asked me before we started. You said, why do you think that most people don't stick to the diets, right? Because they always pick these like outrageous things that it's not long term, bro. I mean, it's fun. It's exciting. The beginning of the year, new me. I'm going to go keto. Bro, how long can you go without like, bread or rice or tortillas? I can only go so long. You know what I mean? Carnivore. How long can you go only eating that, right? Any diet. And then on top of that, all those diets are doing is putting you on a caloric deficit. So why not try to choose something that you know you can stick to long term?
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? And that's what I preach. Yeah. I preach the realistic approach on that, to where I'm like, bro, I want to make meals that if you come home, your wife makes, everybody could enjoy, right? And you can still stay on your weight loss goals or whatever your health and fitness goals are, and at the same time you're teaching good habits to your kids. My daughter always says, man, our house is an ingredient house, right? But she knows, like, she comes home from volleyball, there's a bag of carne asada already cut up and everything. There's some fat-free cheese. There's things so she can make a quesadilla. There's eggs so she can, make some eggs. Like, there's options of everything. And that's, I think, to me, that's super important, because you see online a lot of, like, the health and fitness people, come with me, do my morning routine, 9 a.m., go to the gym, go do all that. I'm like, bro, some of us have kids out here. We have jobs. We have to feed multiple mouths. It's not just me. Same thing. If you're keto, imagine your grocery shopping trips, dude.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? You're going to have to do a whole separate grocery shopping trip for yourself. And then if you're the one who cooks in the house, you got to be cooking all the food that you can't eat, and you're stuck there smelling it. It just makes it harder and harder and harder. you can't stick to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It makes sense. Me and JT tried the Mexican keto, which is poquito de todo.
I was like, what is that? This guy. And with that, we're out.
Me la aventé buena, güey. Oh. I just had to, dog.
No, but that's like if we're kind of like going back to, okay, if that's what you're trying to do, right? I always try to take the most realistic approach with people. I'm not a coach. I'm not a health, but I try to put out as much information as I can for, at no cost. People can tune in. Like you look at my comment sections, it's always, there's so much interaction going on, and it's good interaction. People talking, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
My sister
dude.
follows you. She was all excited.
Heck yeah, dude.
I'm like, you should have been at the gym because she goes to the same gym. I'm like, where are you at? I didn't go. I could have met him.
So it's and everybody kind of throwing different ideas at each other and stuff, but I try to tackle like the bigger problems that I think most people are having troubles with. That you don't have to go spend $300 on a trainer to lose weight. I can give you some options that'll help you get. Sometimes the idea of losing weight, like you think 6-pack and you think like you compare yourself to these like people online, bro, sometimes to someone losing weight might just be like, dude, I want to be able to go play with my kids, soccer game or whatever. Or I want to be able to, go to vacation, take off my shirt and not feel, super bad or, whatever it may be.
Do you live in Southern California and are you looking to buy, sell, or refinance one of your properties? What better agent to represent you than the host of True Hustle Podcast? Go ahead, give us a call or send us a text at 323-352-7946. Now let's get back to the episode, baby.
And there's a lot of bad habits that you could clean up that are not very hard, but it's gonna take some take some discipline. It's gonna take, you're gonna have, that mindset's gonna have to kick in. And if you don't have that mindset down, you can go hire a coach. More than likely, once that coach is gone, if you're not teaching yourself to break these bad habits, you're just going to go right back to them.
You know what I think makes it more difficult for Mexicans? Is our families.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
La carrilla?
No. In terms of them not knowing healthier options.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to speak for myself.
Yeah.
Okay. My mom. They still cook with lard.
Yeah.
Okay. And I could be on track.
Yeah.
And I get to my mom's house.
Y vámonos recio.
Y vámonos recio lo que my mom wants to feed me. Que papas, que this and that and that. How do we teach our community what the alternatives are? Like, okay, don't use lard. Use this. Don't use this type of salt. Use this.
Yeah.
Don't use this type of
Mm-hmm.
seasoning. Use this. How do we do that?
That's kind of where I've been trying to venture into. It's a little hard because it's boring, but it's the basic stuff that people need to understand. Like you talk about using lard, right? We go back to what if you, for some weird reason, right? What if you need to get 30 grams of fat in one meal? Like, that's me being, exaggerated a little bit, but you could hit it real quick with some lard, right?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
You might exceed that.
Yeah, you might exceed it, yeah. And so the thing is, how many people know that 1 gram of fat is 9 calories?
No, I didn't.
Right? Not many people know that. And so you think of lard. I think lard, if I'm correct, I think it's like 15 grams of lard is like 14 grams of fat or something. Or it's 1 in 1.
Okay.
I mean, it adds calories fast. And one tablespoon, 15 grams, is not a lot, dude. It's a little thing like that, right? And that is what just racks up the calories. Because I know what you're talking about because I've seen my mom do it with like canola oil. You just pour that stuff. Cuando hacen costillas de puerco.
Fuck.
right?
Bro,
They
I see
pour
my
that-
mom
yeah.
grab a fucking spoon.
Yeah.
De pura pinche manteca.
Hasta para los blanquillos,
Y
right?
bam.
Yeah.
Frijoles.
Yeah.
Frijoles with manteca, con bolillo,
Y un
con
quesito.
queso,
Yeah,
y
yeah.
jalapeños.
Yeah. And I bet, dude.
Fire.
See, and the thing
I
is,
don't know.
I bet you even just cutting that lard off, the calories would like drop so hard on that meal, right? It'd still be pretty imbalanced because we just named off a bunch of carbs, a little bit of protein, but maybe asking them like, why are we using the lard, right? We're using the lard somewhat for flavor. From what I understood, always my mom used oil and lard. This is how I grew up, right? They use that que pa que no se pegue la comida.
Yeah.
That's always what it was. Pa que no se pegue la comida. Use oil, use lard, pa que no se pegue. Well, they make cooking sprays for that now,
Yeah.
right? So
Which is the healthiest cooking spray?
I honestly, I just do the, I think it's chosen avocado oil. And I like what you keep asking, and I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
this is something that to me I get a lot, and a lot of in the health and fitness community, it's something that's always very debated, and that's ingredients. That's
I
huge.
think that's the key
That's
to
huge.
a lot.
Depends. Okay. Depends, because. Okay, hang on. Let's go back to the lard.
All right,
okay?
let's go. Let's scale it back. We have 6 hours. We're good.
So if we're using the manteca to make the frijoles, right? Are we using it para que no se peguen los frijoles, or are we using it for flavor, right? At this point, I bet you if you were to not use the lard, right away, your mom would be able to taste it. She'd be like, "What the heck? Like,
Estos no son frijoles."
estos no son frijoles, right? Le hace
Sin-
falta algo.
sin porquería.
Yeah,
Tíralos.
le hace falta algo.
Damn, chill, jefa.
So again, it's that balance, right? How about you start with cooking spray and a little bit of manteca? Maybe échale la manteca ya towards the end para que todavía le dé el sabor, right? You don't need to boil it in manteca. Let
You
them
don't need a
cook.
big ass fucking spoonful.
Yeah, échale, even just start with half, right?
Oh, and by the way, they watch every episode. So it's like they're going to listen
Yeah,
to
they're
this.
going to hear that. Hey,
¿Oíste
Mom.
más? ¿Oíste más? Por favor.
And those are the little changes that I'm talking about that make a big difference, right? That I'm like, you don't need to hire necessarily a coach for that. But that right there is what I'm talking about. So instead of taking that huge scoop, a little bit of cooking spray, make them towards the end, aviéntales poquita manteca para que agarren el sabor, right? Todavía se van a durar and everything. And then maybe start experimenting. Aviéntales some jalapenos, a little bit of onion, something más para que le dé poquito sabor, right?
Okay.
Because that's what they're going to care about. And sometimes they don't even catch it, dude. I've fed my mom like enchiladas, how I make them with just a cooking spray. Same thing, right? The enchiladas, what are we used to? We put a bunch of oil para que se dore bien bonita la tortilla, you know?
Yeah.
Get that little crunch on it. Oh, right? But
I'm hungry.
yeah.
Bro, we worked out and I only drank that shake.
That shit got me full.
Starving.
We're gonna go to
Yeah, I'm 236 pounds.
we're
bro.
gonna go to
Yeah, we're gonna eat mariscos and la carreta.
La carreta, bro.
What?
La carreta. But so those are kind of the changes that I'm talking about I'm trying to put out to the community that are easy, you can do, and are they gonna taste different? A little, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna front, right? But at what cost do you want? You want to get a hold of your health, dude. Like on a personal level, during COVID, my grandma, like, la espantaron, right? She wouldn't walk to church. She used to walk to church. She used to walk to the post office. She used to walk, right? Salía. COVID happened, bro. No salía, nothing. No walking, no nothing, right? Like locked in her house, right? And bro, it hurts me, dude. Now when I go see her in a freaking wheelchair, dude, because she gained a lot of weight. She can barely walk now, and we're having to wheel her around. She just got a little scooter and stuff, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like that destroyed her, because. And it's the same thing. I wasn't even too aware with the health stuff and all that, but I even just did a video on how important it is to walk, dude. Like my grandma subconsciously was walking to church, walking there, even at church, te paras, te sientas, all those little things add up, dude. All those little steps that she was doing. She'd catch public transit and go into town and walk around at the store. She loved walking around at the store, right? My grandpa would wait in the van and be like, dude, like when my grandpa would drive her. or she'd just go on the public transit. But she was walking, right? And all that got cut off, and then sprinkled the terrible eating habits and all the canola oil and all that, dude. It just like, dude, within 3 years, she's put her in a wheelchair. You know, and she's still with us. She's, you know, and I watch how she cooks, and I try to take over. You know what I mean? Hey,
And what did she tell you?
no, mijo, no, siéntate, mijo. You know, and then she, yeah, dude, she was making costillas because that's I keep bringing up costillas because that was mine and my wife's favorite meal, dude. On my birthday, unas pinches costillas de puerco con salsa roja, son frijolitos de olla y queso fresco en tortillas a mano, dude. Bro,
No quieres nada.
It ain't getting good, you know what I mean?
Sounds fire.
But then one day, like, I told my grandma, I was like, a ver, yo las hago, right? And I was like, making them. And then she's like, hijo, échale más aceite. And I was like, así está bien. Échale más aceite. Tráeme el aceite, you know? She's pouring, gluk, 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 gluk. I'm like, oh, my God. Y la salsita está bien buena when you're eating it. You know what I mean? Cuando estás comiendo tus cositas y luego te echas salsa, dude, and you're even scooping. Think about that. Each scoop, you're probably scooping like 120 calories. You know what I mean? You're just.
I didn't think it was that much.
Oh, yeah, dude. A tablespoon of oil. I know someone's going to quote me on it, but I think a tablespoon of oil is like 14 grams of fat. So you're there just scooping that stuff. You know what I mean? Those are the subconscious choices that we're making, right? Because we're not thinking about it, and we're just cooking. And then again, I ask myself, why are we using that much oil? To me, it goes back to 14 grams. Is it 14? Yeah, see? So when I'm thinking back of why we cook like that, growing up, I always heard you use the oil para que no se pegue la comida. Mm-hmm. Dude, if you just switch to a cooking spray, bro, the amount of calories you could just completely cut from so many of your meals, right? Mm-hmm. There's a time and place for oil. There's a time, you know what I mean? When we're making the arroz mexicano. You saw, I brought a bag with me. I made some for my meal prep. And I measured out 2 teaspoons of avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, canola oil, 14 grams of fat per tablespoon. Some people might, canola oil will cause this, avocado oil will cause this. Sure, but at the end of the day, it's 14 grams of fat, regardless of which one it is, right? And so then people will bring up, well, what about heart health and avocado oil is good for this? My friend, when I weighed 227 pounds, I don't think the type of oil that I was using was a problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's where most people get lost with the ingredients. And that is why we can talk about the ingredients, like how I was telling you. That's where most people get lost, is you're very overweight and you're worrying about the aspartame in soda. Dude, if the diet soda or the Coke Zero was helping you eliminate the regular soda, that's, I think, 42 grams of carbs per little can of soda. That's 42 grams of carbs that you just eliminated from your daily routine. And let's say you drink 3 of those. That's 120 grams of carbs that you just eliminated by switching over to a diet option, right? So now, is that a good trade-off? Like, you want to complain about the aspartame, or like, is it, you know what I mean?
Okay. So you could still have soda as part of your diet.
I don't even have my backpack, but I packed 6 of these. It's out there. They're Coke Zeros. I'm addicted to these things, dude.
Really?
And dude, and let me give you an example. When I first started, like, really dialing it down, really getting my diet like dialed down, there was a lot of nights when I hit my macros by 5 p.m., bro. And now I still got to go train jiu-jitsu, and I got a whole afternoon. I have no more food. I already ate everything. I already hit my macros. That's it. There was nights where I was like, dude, I'm so hungry, right? Grab me a diet soda. Y me quitaba el hambre. And at the time I would chew, and I'm not advocating for this, but I would throw in a dip, you know? But even now, just a diet soda, sometimes when I'm feeling a little hungry, and I'm driving home from work, you know, I do electrical work, so sometimes I get off. I don't really know what time I'm gonna get off. So I'm like driving home, and I'm like, dude, I'm starving. I already ate my food. I obviously burned a little bit more calories today because I'm working later. I'll just stop and grab me a diet soda and drink that.
And that's it.
And that's it. Now here's the healthy or unhealthy argument. That soda now kept me from overeating, which is keeping me away from being overweight again. So is the diet soda bad? It just helped me out. See what I mean?
Let me know what you think in the comments.
And that's always my argument for everything. If somebody decides to put a donut into their daily meal, right, and they stay within their macros, but it keeps them on track with their diet, is the donut really bad? Like, it just helped that person stay on track with what they're trying to accomplish.
That's a good point.
And so when people talk about ingredients, that's always my problem. Is like, dude, that's fine, but you're talking to most people who are way overweight, man. Right now, the ingredient thing is cool when you're like at like my body fat percentage, right? Now I've been doing this for a couple years now. You saw me today at the gym. I'm maybe like 10%, 12%, right?
Like 10.
If I wanted to hop on stage and do all that, maybe I'll start looking at different things, because when I'm this lean, an excess amount of carbs, you'll hold more water. I'll see it on the scale the next day when I'm this lean, right? And it's fine. I just go to jiu-jitsu, roll, sweat it all out, back to my normal weight. But when I was at my heaviest at 227, right? At that point, what I would tell me today is, let's start tackling the big things. Coffee's a huge one for people.
Oh, I can't do olive.
You know what I mean? They get the big Dutch Bros. Is there Dutch Bros out here?
No.
Okay.
Is there? No. In Texas.
No, there's some out here, but you gotta drive maybe like an hour, like maybe like Central Valley.
Okay.
Bro, unos basotas así, dude. Everybody where I used to work, everybody used to come in with those things, right? Mm-hmm. You're starting your morning off with like 600 freaking calories right there.
What's the healthiest way to drink your coffee?
Black. That's how I drink it.
Nothing else.
Again, we're going back to the healthy, but if you want to say like the lowest calorie, and I don't mean to play like the word game with you, you know what I mean? But lowest calorie, like, I'm a person who, it's kind of weird because, like, I think just as someone who's busy and as a dad, and I say as a dad because sometimes you got to do like 20 different things at one time. I really like a lot of my stuff. I just as basic as I can get with it to save time.
Okay.
Right. A cup of black coffee.
That makes sense.
Right. Wherever you go, who's not gonna have? If I tell, hey JR, can I have a coffee? Yeah. I don't even have to ask for sugar, cream, nothing. Just give me a black coffee. That's how I drink it. Right. But when I was at the airport, I had that layover, and I was like, got on ChatGPT, give me some low calorie coffee options, and I got like a cold brew from Starbucks with.
That's what I drink.
Yeah, with a splash of almond milk and I think it said like 2 pumps of sugar-free vanilla.
That's what I get. Okay, well, first of all, I don't go to Starbucks, but when I do, which we'll probably go later because I want one, it's rare when I go, but I get the cold brew with 2 pumps of sugar-free vanilla. That's it. Black.
Yeah, perfect.
Like that.
How like? Yeah,
so I'm fucking healthy, guys.
That's no calories, right? That's no calories. Perfect. What if you're someone who's like addicted to coffee and you're like, dude, I'm down to switch one of my meals for for a coffee.
Yeah, that'll probably be me.
You know what I mean? And at that point, it's like, okay, you're gonna be a little bit hungry, but you're gonna stay within the calories that you need to be at. You get to enjoy your coffee. And for you, you're like, dude, the taste of that coffee is worth being hungry the next couple hours.
You want me to what I think the problem is when it comes to our community? You know, that we struggle with diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity. Is that we lack discipline.
Yeah. Big time, dude.
That is the biggest. Because it's very difficult. I understand.
No, it's
very difficult. But how did you do it? Because you went from 227 pounds. Yeah. You're a big boy, dog.
Yeah,
I seen,
big,
dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
There's
fucking super lean. Like, what clicked?
There's a story, dude.
I want the story, dog.
I have a question.
Yeah,
before you
hit it,
move on
hit
to
it.
the next one. You said dealing with coffee, get an alternative. What would you say to the Latino community that struggles with hot Cheetos?
Well, hot
Because
Cheetos?
the bag of hot Cheetos only like 180
Yeah.
calories.
All right.
Yeah.
Actually, it's good you brought that up. Let me tell you something, bro.
We'll pull up my video where I am eating hot Cheetos.
Listen, dog. I'm Mexican. I grew up in Huntington Park. It's an immigrant town. We fucking, we love our hot Cheetos, dog.
Yeah.
And I think I had a borderline addiction to those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think we all did, yeah. Dude, I was eating those
You know
things
what
for
I'm
breakfast in 5th grade.
So yeah, even in junior high, we
Yeah.
fucking would go to the student store, get a slushie, and Gate Junior High, get a slushie and a bag of hot Cheetos. What is the healthier alternative to hot Cheetos?
Well, here's
Which I don't eat them no more, by the way. But anyhow.
Okay, no. So, you know those those veggie sticks that they advertise, right? Those veggie chips.
yeah.
Okay. What if I gave you the option and said, JR, you could have 20 grams of the veggie sticks, or sorry, 28 grams of the veggie sticks, or 20 grams of the Cheetos, of the regular Cheetos.
Grams of what? Fat? Or
If you're weighing them,
Yeah,
portion size.
yeah.
This is the same.
Yeah, let's put it in numbers. You can have 30 of the veggie sticks, or you can have 15 hot Cheetos.
I'm gonna go with the 15 hot Cheetos.
There you go, and it's the same calories. You see what
You know
I mean?
what the problem with me is?
You're gonna go through the whole.
That
bag.
I get the supersized bag,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. You see what I mean? It's all, and so now, okay, you chose that over that. Okay, now let's go to the next thing. Now let's say you're gonna have your lunch, right? And you're gonna have some. Let's just keep it. Let's say what am I like? Chile con carne meal preps, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, you're like, bro, but is there another way that I can get maybe another like 15 hot Cheetos? I'm like, okay. Well, when you have that meal prep, you're not going to have any tortillas with it, but you get to have more Cheetos. And you're like, okay, I'll do that. Right. And then we go to the next thing. Hey, bro, do you think I could increase this Cheetos even more? Yeah, with this. Right. And again, some people might be against that because they're like, well, then you're not getting your proper nutrients.
And because
you're-
it has food dye.
yeah, it has food dye.
It has
and that.
this, it has that.
But at the end of the day, I know from experience, I've done that before. And then the end of the day comes, I'm like, bro, I should have never have had those. It was not worth it. Like the rest of my food now I gotta eat. And I could have had tacos dorados, but now I only get to have chicken because I wasted all my carbs on those Cheetos. Right? And so then the next day, I don't do that anymore. And most people, once you actually see it like that in numbers, you can't pick anything up without looking at it and being like, that's not worth it. That's always how I think. I don't even think healthy or not healthy. I just think, no, that's not worth it. It's not worth it. I pick up one of those brownies or like Little Debbie's, 48 grams of carbs for a little tiny square. I start thinking like, dude, I could have so many other things. I could have 3 granola bars. And I'm going to get more. I'm going to get a little bit of the peanut butter taste. It's not worth 48 grams of carbs for that.
Let me ask you this. Your macros, the way you count them, is it designed for your body type?
Mm-hmm. It is.
And how does somebody get a customized meal plan like that?
When you hire a coach, that's what they're doing. They're gonna dial down. And here's the reason. You can only imagine how many people have DM'd me. Can you coach me? Like, I go really in a depth with figuring this stuff out for myself, play around with my numbers a lot, and it goes back. We'll talk about the discipline part because all these numbers, dude. The laws of thermodynamics, dude. Calories in, calories out. Like, when somebody tells you it doesn't work, it's because they're not doing it right. They're either not weighing their food, they're not being honest. Okay. When you calculate your macros, for me, I go based off my BMR, your basal metabolic rate, the calories that you burn just existing, breathing, your organs working, everything. And then the amount of exercise you do, how active you are at your job. Are you someone like me, blue collar, tools on all day, running back and forth, right? Or are you somebody who works a desk job, right? and then your age, your sex,
Mm-hmm.
and and then if you're trying to maintain or be on a deficit. All those things are taken into consideration, put into a formula, and that gives you how many calories you should be consuming to hit whatever goal you want. Oh, sorry, and the target weight that you're trying to hit. So,
And that determines how many meals you're going to eat a day.
that determines how many calories you have to do whatever you want now. That's your paycheck.
It's not meals.
No, that's your paycheck.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
When you're counting macros, this is not how many meals you're eating.
No, that's your
You
calories.
could eat 15 meals as long as it equals to the macros.
Yeah, and you're not exceeding them. That's what I'm saying. You get the freedom. Where do you want to waste a lot of them on Cheetos and then be hungry throughout the day? Most people will do that like once or twice, dude. I remember that when I first started to do this, I put in a bag of M&Ms, and I was like, shit, I get some M&Ms. Bro, I was at work starving.
Fuck those
I was like,
M&Ms.
fuck those M&Ms, dude. No, I should have. You know what I mean? And so, you can't teach that. You got to go through it. You know what I mean?
Okay. And do you do this 7 days a week?
I did. I've been doing it for a couple of years now.
7 days a week.
With everything.
Dascabron.com.
I can calculate in my head. I can. You don't even know how many videos I've done where like I'm trying to weigh something and be wrong, and I'll get it right. It takes a long time, dude. It takes a long time to really dial it down. It really helps out that my wife does it too.
But you only meal prep for yourself.
No, everyone at the house. Everyone.
Oh,
at the
okay.
house.
Well, aside from your household, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I
Dude,
do.
if you lived in LA, I'm gonna have a kitchen in my new spot.
Yeah, I can get down. My favorite meal to get down with, carne asada. It's the easiest, and dude, that's all protein. That's like,
Bro, I need you to make some motherfucking pinches tacos de. You said you put chicharrón in there with carnitas, like
Yeah.
bro, like when we open up, which is in a few months, I need you to come down.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'll bring
Like,
my family this time too.
Yeah,
so you can
and
meet
then
them.
we'll do a Monday,
Yeah.
so we could document all the meal preps.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what's cool?
I
want
want to do that.
You know what's cool about it too?
What?
I just need to convince her. My wife is not. She hates me behind the camera, but she helps out so much, dude. I would need her like as my right hand, and we could do like for a lot of people, like we could do like 10. Cause you really got to think, dude. If you're eating, let's just say you're eating 6 grams of carne asada and raw weight, right, of espaldilla per meal, and let's say you eat 4 meals, that's 6 grams. Sorry, I meant 6 ounces. If you're eating 6 ounces of espaldilla per meal, and let's say you're eating 4 meals like that, that's 24 ounces of espaldilla. That's 1.5 pounds, right? So when you go to la carniceria, think you usually only dame unas 2 libras, right? So when I'm going to la carniceria, dude, I'm buying like 3 pounds every like 3 days.
I would want to do an experiment for 30 days.
I did one for 75.
Let's talk about that. Because you did 75 hard.
Yeah.
How was that?
Bro, 75 hard. Hands down, like, it completely made me who I am today to, like, a whole nother level that I didn't think was achievable. Like, I just, my mindset now is so freaking strong, dude. Like, I feel like nothing can break me.
Really?
Like, nothing, dude. There's no, like, and I know it sounds, like, very loud to say something like that, but it just taught me that you are in control of whatever you can be in control, bro. And everything else is just like, you're just, it's just kind of going by. It's life, right? And what I mean by that is when you're doing 75 hard, you do really isolate a lot from everyone else, from society, dude. Because you got these set things that you need to accomplish every day. You need to do 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each, 1 inside, 1 outside, right? They need to be at least 2 hours split apart, which means you basically have to wake up in the morning, my guy, to do your first one, right? You got to follow a meal plan for 75 days with no cheat meals. And it could be whatever meal plan you want. You got to read 10 pages of a self-improvement book, physically read it. You got to drink 1 gallon of water a day, and you got to take a progress pic. And to some people that sounds like extreme. It is a little extreme in a good way though, because it teaches you how much you can really push yourself. Before that, dude, I couldn't go more than 7 days without a cheat meal. Most people can't. Most people can't even follow a meal plan for a week. And if they do follow it for a week, they automatically want to go celebrate and go hit that cheat meal, right? Or I even heard cheat day, right? When I was running out of, when I said I would, I put those M&Ms in my diet and I ran out of food for the day, that was during 75 hard. That was, I can't eat anything past that. That's part of the 75 days, right? That's what I chose to do. That's the calories that I chose. I can't eat past that. Any other time I would have been like, it's back to what I first started. Tienes hambre, right? Go eat. This was like, nah, bro, sorry, you can't eat. Right? And it's a little extreme, but then it taught me how far I can actually push that. Like, that tolerance level kept getting higher and higher and higher every day. Oh, and the most important, you can't drink or smoke.
That's the easy part for me.
But that program is what got me to quit drinking. Yeah.
That right there.
I can't say who, but someone close. They said Chuy is the only, and they're very involved with like the sober community. And they said Chuy is the only guy that I've seen who has completely cold turkeyed everything with no program. I didn't go to AA. I didn't seek any help. No, I just said, I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. Like that. From the age of 16 to 31, never had a sober birthday. At 31 years old, I had my sober birthday, dude. And it was crazy. Because during 75 hard, we kept putting these excuses of, oh, we'll start this day, right? And we just kept pushing it off. Oh, es que se va a casar so-and-so. And then finally I told my wife, dude, we just have to start. She said, but if we do it in October, that's going to be on your birthday. I'm like, I guess I'm having a sober birthday then, right? And so, same thing. I thought I couldn't go without drinking, dude, right? And that goes back to the isolation part. Now, I wasn't going out to drink on Fridays with my friends. I wasn't going out on Saturdays with them, right? I'd go with my wife, and we'd go out together and do a bunch of stuff. And we tried doing some of the stuff, but bro, this is the hard part about when you quit drinking. A lot of the stuff that was fun when you were drinking isn't that fun when you're not drinking anymore. You know what I mean? And it's not even the people, but it's just kind of like, I remember we went like bowling and I was like, dude, this is kind of lame. You know what I mean? But it's because you're drinking, right? And so, I think it was like at about day 30, something started happening in my head mentally that was like really hard to grapple with, where I started feeling anger towards seeing people drink. And I started seeing anger towards people that I know on a personal level drink. Because I was almost like watching them, almost like not being a good path. You know what I mean?
Self-destruct.
Yes, there you go. And so I was just watching it, dude. And it would build so much anger in me that I would then just like leave. I'd tell my wife, hey, let's just go. We were at a baptism. All my family was there. Everybody's drinking. And I'm just watching it. And like, I'm not trying to be judgmental with anybody. I'm trying to hold conversations still. I'm trying to be out there. But the conversations kind of start shifting towards stuff that I'm just like, I'm in the middle of 75 hard right now, man. I'm reading all my self-improvement books, I'm seeing what the power of transforming your mind actually does for you. All these greats, like everything they talk about, time management. Like I got to go do a workout. I got to go meal prep. I got to go, I got to do all these things. And I'm just watching everybody else just like not at their full potential. And then just they're poisoning themselves, Mm-hmm. And it got me thinking of, it got me thinking a lot of my father, which is a touchy subject for me, but I'm getting better at talking about it because I want to advocate for that big time. Like my goal is, that's one of my biggest goals is figure out a way to advocate for sobriety without like pushing it too hard. Because I've always said the quickest way to make an enemy is trying to help somebody who doesn't want help, right? You'll make enemies like that, bro. So it goes, and it all wraps back together. Don't tell your mom she can't cook with lard. Sneak in some cooking spray and add a little bit of manteca. Slowly introduce it, right? You try to cut somebody off. You try to tell them that, dude, it never works out. It never works out. They have to want it, right? So as I'm watching everybody else around me do this, I'm like, damn, dude, this is crazy. That day that we were at that baptism, I told my wife, let's just go. I don't want to be here. And they had carnitas, and I showed up with the scale, and I weighed out. Yeah, and I weighed out my carnitas. But
and what they say?
Nothing. I did it all. So then I left, and I went to my grandpa's house. My grandpa doesn't drink anymore either. And all of a sudden, it made sense. Fuck, that's why he's not there at a lot of these things. Why does he want to be around a bunch of drunk people? I fixed it.
Hey, bro, let me tell you something, dog. You don't realize how annoying drunk people are until you are sober yourself.
The conversations go from here to here to here.
And then you realize how I have a lot of reflecting when I see other people drunk as fuck, being stupid. I'm like, damn, dog, that was me, bro. This is how I look. This is how people perceive me.
That was another.
This is crazy. No mames, güey. Cállate los cinco y vete a dormir, güey.
I went to bachelor parties like that, sober. I did a lot of things like that, right? And I still kind of do. But as the stages of sobriety were kind of kicking in, that was the first one, a lot of anger. Then eventually by like day 45, I got to that point of like regret. And it was fucking hard, dude. I cried a lot by myself. I thought about a lot of times. I thought a lot about a lot of people, things I said, choices I made. And I was like, damn, dude, like this, fuck, it hurts, it stings. And you're like, you can't go back. You think of memories that you're like, dude, I had too many. I barely even remember. You know what I mean? And then you see pictures the next day and you're like, maybe you didn't do anything dumb, but you're kind of like, I would have liked to have remembered my daughter's birthday.
How do you feel when you do hang out with your friends that were part of your drunken days, and now you're a part of it? I mean, they're still your friends, but you're at a gathering and they're continuing to drink, but you're the sober one. How does that make you feel?
I think a lot of my friends did that. Well, I guess after that regret stage, then came like the cleaning up the friendship. And by cleaning up, I don't mean like I don't want to be friends with these people. By cleaning up, I mean like relationships slowly just started petering out, right? The ones that left, we kind of mutually like, it wasn't like we don't want to hang out anymore. It's just we both know like there's not really anything there anymore, right? So we just kind of went our ways. The ones that stayed got way stronger, way stronger. I'm okay with people drinking around me now. I'm like, that's fine. But most of my friends, when they are around me, they don't drink. And I'm always giving them crap. Like, dude, it's okay. Like, you can drink. Like, I don't take it to heart. But all the people that are around me now that are close, that I feel like I want to stay, they don't get to that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They all kind of grew up a little bit too. A lot of us are having kids now, which is awesome. We're going more like baby showers and stuff like that. Dude, we haven't been in like a quinceañera or anything like that in a long time, We and again, it goes back to 75 hard because during that time, you're like, I can't go to that because I gotta do this. I gotta read my book. I gotta go do my workout. And it was a lot of weirdness of people didn't really understand, like, why are you guys doing this? What's the point of this? And honestly, when we went in it, we went in it as a weight loss challenge. But it's a mental toughness thing, dude. It's a mental toughness thing. Like, me and my wife would, in Oregon, November, for those who are in Oregon, know, in November, dude, it's cold in the morning and it's raining. We would get up at 4 a.m., put on our rain gear, and go on a 45-minute walk. Pouring down rain. High vis on, headlamp. We wouldn't talk to each other. We couldn't hear each other. The rain's hitting so hard. And we would just walk. And come back, right? And then on the nice days, bro, it brought us together like more than anything has. Like, we were already good, but that just like that first hour of your day, no cell phones, no one's awake, no one's around, and you just get to communicate with your partner about your day, anything's been on your mind, How are you feeling now? And then on top of that, you're both reading self-improvement books. You're both doing your workouts. You're both losing weight together. Like, dude, it just, and that's one thing that I'm like, I've listened to 75 Verses a lot with Andy Frisella, and I've never heard anybody bring that up. And I'm like, that's crazy, dude, because I know I'm not the only one I know we're not the only ones who experienced that as a couple. Like, it was, I always mention it to her. I'm always like, dude, I miss who we were during 75 Hard. We completely isolated from the world, and nobody else, it didn't make sense to anyone else but us. But that taught us a lot of discipline on tracking your macros, on staying consistent with working out, no longer drinking, right? All that mindset shift happened because where we thought we were, the potential was so much higher. But if you're not around anybody who's up there, how are you ever going to see it?
Very true.
How are you ever going to see it? It's something that I've been thinking a lot about when a lot of us like to say, you know, oh, it's me versus me. And I used to say that all the time, right? But I'm like, what if the me that I'm beating all the time isn't that high level? Isn't that, you know what I mean? You need to put yourself out there and expose it to see that there's levels to this.
Oh, there's levels.
There's levels to it, bro. And that's where, for me, jiu-jitsu comes in. I train a lot, and I watch what I eat and everything, and I go, and I went to Worlds, and I got 2 wins in, and the third one I got beat. Everyone's like, how was it? I was like, dude, he beat me. He was better. You know what I mean? And in the beginning, that was hard because you're like, damn, dude, like, I feel like I'm doing everything I need to. And you go and you put yourself out there, and you get beat. Like, that's hard, right? You're like, damn, dude, I thought I was putting in all the work.
It's defeating, huh?
Yeah, dude, you know? But it also taught me something super important, that a lot of competitions that I was doing, or a lot of things that I was trying, and I think people in general, is they're so scared of failure that they won't even try it. And that, you know, imagine if in the back of my head I would have been like, I'm good at jiu-jitsu, I don't need to go to Worlds. Because in the back of my head, I'm like, if I lose, am I really that good? Right? You think you're that good until you put yourself out there. And then you realize, damn, dude, maybe I'm not that good. But what does that mean? It just, there's, how we said, there's levels to this, dude. And unless you're willing to go out and look for them, my friend, you're only going to be as good as the people around you. Not saying it in a bad way, but like, I'm treading waters right now that nobody that I know has ever treaded, dude. I'm out here in LA. I'm from Oregon, dude. I'm from a small town. Damn. You know what I mean? When me and my wife did the cookbook, bro, nobody that we know has ever wrote a book. Nobody that I know has this online store. Who do we go for help? You know what I mean? But you just got to try it. You just got to put it out there, man.
What inspired the book?
Hold on, guys. We hit the 1 hour mark. I don't know if you guys want to take a quick little
break. I'm good.
The book was just honestly like, I was making a lot of content, and it's been going very well, and it takes up a lot of my time. And as a family, my wife, you know, all of us, it takes a lot of our time to record these videos, edit, you know, the money that we have to spend on stuff. And so we needed to figure out a way to at least make some sort of revenue, right? And then with that revenue, then that's why I'm here today. You know, when you say, can you come out to LA? It's not even a question. Yeah, I got the money for it. Boom, boom. You know, we're investing in ourselves again like that. And so we needed to figure out at least some way to bring in a little bit of revenue, but still have something to sell, to offer that wasn't, you know, what do they call it? Snake oil? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of offers for a lot of things online to promote, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't, dude. I can't promote that. That's not. And what's weird is a lot of these are campaigns. So then I decline, and then I see for the next week everyone who said yes, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you're just kind of like, oh man, it better, you know, get your bag. I'm not knocking on it. You know. We got to think of some way to make a little bit of dough off of it. And even then, with all the time that we have put into everything that we've done, hours to money made. I mean, it's not even minimum wage. But recently I had this conversation with a good friend of mine, and he said, well, you're looking at it the wrong way, dude. This is your business, and what most businesses in the beginning, they're not making any money, bro.
Sure. Well, let's go look at Amazon.
Yeah. He's like, they're not making any money, dude. So you just, don't think of it as how much time you spent. Just think of it of like, look at all these opportunities that are starting to come up, and the mission has always been like on a personal level. Like I had kind of a rough, not a rough, somewhat rough, but, not the best childhood and not the best upbringing, but, everyone around me tried their best. Mm-hmm. And so when I see everything online and how much money it costs to get all this information, and not only that, but it's not necessarily targeted to like the Latino community. Mm-hmm. I think of it like, imagine if I grew up with a single mom. Imagine if my mom could have access to all this, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't have any money for it, but she's watching all this and she's like, man, dude, this kid, like, he's at least teaching me a couple things here and there. And like I said, we can make these everyday changes in the way that we're eating by, not getting the huge coffee in the morning, not using the oil, weighing out your portions, right? Little things like that could at least start maybe a snowball effect that gets people more curious to like, I want to lose weight, I want to be that little bridge there for everyone and not have to charge you an arm and a leg for it. Mm. You know what I mean? So that's where my mentality comes from. And even then when we were trying to get the cookbook together, like that was hard for me because I told my wife, man, I want to. She's like, well, if you sell it at this much, I think it's like $30. She's like, if you sell it at $30, like some people are selling it more, some people are selling it for less. And what really drove me, dude, all the time I get asked, when are you going to release it? When are you going to release it? In the back of my head, I'm just like, I really want to make sure that I think of my mom. If my mom is paying for this, mm-hmm. think of little me, and my mom spends $30, I want her to be getting her money's worth off of it, right? And so that part of me for business is hard. It's really hard, dude. It's really hard because I always think like I didn't grow up with too much. Mm-hmm. So putting a price on things, bro, it's hard. I do electrical work, dude. I've gone to go do work for some people, man, and I'm just like, it's on the it's on the D-Lo, and I'm just like, all right, just give me like $30 or something. But an electrician's like $160 an hour, but it's because I feel, and that's the hard part for me with business. Business ain't easy, dude.
It's not.
Business is not easy.
I think it's not easy when you have the right intentions. Mm-hmm. It has its moments where you're like, fuck, I don't want to overcharge, but am I undercharging? Fuck. Mm-hmm. And it puts you in a situation where like, dang, you want to be helpful, but mm-hmm. it's like, yeah. So it could be tricky. And then some other people just take advantage too.
They do. And that happens all the time, And I don't think you can avoid that, mm-hmm. And it kind of goes back to like the whole mindset shift, dude, that we were talking about. Like I'll kind of give you this. We'll go into it, okay? Because there's a story, dude. There's a story that not many people know out there.
Oh, exclusive! Let's go.
When I met my wife, I was 21. I had a twin mattress on the ground. Eventually, hang on, let's restart that. I was 21. I had a car, no license, tons of tickets. When you talk about being like pulled over, I mean, I think I had like $15,000, $20,000 of tickets. Okay.
Stop.
I had no job. I had nowhere to go. And one of my friends, shout out to her, Jessie, she calls me. She goes, hey, I know you need a place to stay. I'm moving out of this apartment. I already paid rent for 1 month in that bedroom. Do you want it? I was like, sure. So I went, moved in, right? I had a twin mattress on the ground, a couple changes of clothes, my car outside, and I just met my wife, right? And so I was like, hey, listen, I'm 21. I got a 3-year-old, and I don't have a job. I don't have a lot. Like, if you want to leave now, like, I'm totally cool with it, you know? And she's like, no, it's okay. I'll stay. Okay. So then I had this conversation with myself. I remember like it was yesterday. I said, all right, Chuy, how did you get here, man? What happened? How are you here now? Twin mattress on the ground, no job, high school dropout, you know, teen parent, everything, right? I got nothing to show for. I'm like, dude, what? You know, not even a license. So I started just like being brutally honest with myself. Okay, when you were getting pulled over, was it because of you or was it because of them? You were bumping loud music, seat lean back. Like, you were giving them a reason, right? As much as I don't want to, you know, sometimes we don't want to admit it. Like, I was kind of giving them a reason, right? They're on the wrong for profiling. I'm in the wrong for giving them a reason, whatever, right? But that's usually the conversations that stop me from taking accountability. So I was like, okay, whatever. They pulled me over. I got these tickets. I need to pay these tickets off. That's first, so I can get my license. Second thing, I need to get a job. How can I get a job? I'm going to go to this temp service and I'm going to go get a job. Am I going to drive there? No, because I've been pulled over so many times now. I know I have a car, but we don't need any more tickets. Walk over to the temp agency, ask for a job, get a job. Congratulations. I start working at this place as I'm living at this apartment. I'm walking to work. Dude. It's far. It's far, dude. And I'm walking.
How many miles?
Probably like 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty. And then the ladies would be nice sometimes. They'd be like, hey, get it right there, you know? And I felt bad, dude. So I'd be like, no, es ahorita me van a recoger acá, you know? I'm like, dude, no one's going to come pick me up.
Oh, shit.
And then my wife, you know, she was my girlfriend at the time. I felt embarrassed, dude. So, you know, what time are you off? I'd be like, oh, I'm off at like 6. Dude, I was off like at 4. But, you know, I could walk home. And so then eventually I started collecting some money, getting some money, saving my money up. And then I was like, I'm going to go get my license, dude. And I told my wife, I had some tickets in Washington. Drive me to Washington to pay those tickets. Okay, drive me to Oregon to pay those tickets. And then, you know, I paid them all off on that day, dude. Oh, my gosh. I was like, bro, I got my license. I went to DMV, and they're like, oh, I'm like, don't play with me right now, man. I paid everything. I got receipts. I gave me my license, right? So I get my license. Now I can drive. I'm still working at that same job, and one of my buddies is like, hey, bro, this trailer came up for sale where I live. I'm like, okay, how much do they want? I think they want like $4,000 for it, dude. Like, it was beat down, right? So I drive by it, and I'm like, okay, I think we can make this work. And then I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, like, I think we can remodel this place, you know. Bro, this place was like, the people stopped throwing their garbage away. Like, it was run down, dude. And she was like, all right, yeah. I'm like, we could remodel it, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, how are we going to get the money for it? And I was like, I'm going to sell my car. And she's like, what do you mean you're going to sell your car? Like, it was like one of those little turbo Hondas, you know? She's like, what do you mean you're going to sell your car? Like, you just got your license and everything. I'm like, dude, like, I'm going to sell my car. If I sell my car, we can get into this. And then, you know, I'm thinking ahead, right? And so we do that. We buy the place. Now I need money to remodel. Shout out to my father-in-law. He gave me a little loan. And he helped me out a whole summer. And we remodeled it. And me and my wife moved in. Once we moved in, we were there for like 5 years. Rent was cheap, okay, because it was paid off. I was still at the same job, and I got promotions along the way. What you would usually see where I was working at is people would get promotions, and they'd go get like a new car, right? And so people would be like, hey, vas a agarrar una troca nueva, you know? And I was like, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. So then my mother-in-law one day calls my wife and says, hey, tells my wife, you should be an electrician. And my wife's like, I'm not going to be no electrician. And then I'm like, let me see. And it was like a website. And I'm like, how much do they make? And I saw, and I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know you can make that much money, right? And so I'm like, dude, sign me up. And she's like, all right, well, here's the requirements of what you need. I needed a high school diploma or a GED. So I was like, okay, I don't have either. I'm a dropout.
Shit.
Okay. I'm a dropout. So now That's the next step. We got to get a GED or we got to get a high school diploma, right? So then I start with my promotions. I was making a little bit more money. I started paying for me to take these GED classes.
Okay.
But the math one was at 12. So I had to take a 1 hour lunch so I could go to the math one. Because I need, you know what I mean? And then the rest of them were at night. So I take my lunch, I go, come back. And then I went to take my GED test, dude, and I passed. And I was like, yeah. I was like,
graduate at 4 right here.
And I was like, damn, I did. I got my GED, you know? But the goal was to be an electrician. So the thing came in the mail, and I said, cool, we got the GED. Put it away. I'm like, what do I need next to become an electrician? Okay, I need a test and a math 70. All right. So when I got my GED, it was like right after that, we went on like a trip to Sun River. It's somewhere that we go with the in-laws a lot. And I don't even think if I've ever told them this. So this is the first time they're hearing it. But so we're out there, and they bring out a cake, and they're singing, you know, for he's a jolly good fella. You know, and I'm clapping too. Yeah. And they were getting the cake. And they put the cake in front of me. And I'm like, what's this? Like, you got your GED, you know? And they were like really happy. And I was.
Are they white?
Yeah.
Who sings?
And so like, I was happy, but I was like a little embarrassed, you know? I'm like, damn, I'm 20, you know, I'm like 23 years old. Like, I just got my GED, you know? And anyway, so they were real happy about it. Then I went and I figured I got to get into math 70, right? So I could get into the program, to the electrical program. So I tested a math 70. I'm like, perfect. I send in all my credentials to IBEW. They send me a letter with the test date. I go and I take the test, the aptitude test, and I fail. And I knew I failed. I was like, there's no way I passed this thing. There's no way. I failed, right? So after I failed, like, you got to take 6 months before you can retake that damn test.
Oh, shit. So it's a while.
I come home, and I'm like, well, it's like, how'd it go? I'm like, I didn't pass. And I got a letter in the mail saying eventually, like, yeah, you didn't pass. So I was like, all right, what do I got to do so I can pass this damn test? And I was like, all right, well, let's go do math 95 then. I was paying, again, I had extra money because of the promotion at work, so I started paying for math 95, you know, a college course. And I was driving 30 minutes out of town because that was the only community college that had it in the afternoon. Take those classes, come, you know, I get an A in the class, and then after that, it's like, okay, now I still have 2 months before I take the test. Like, what do I do now? Let's sign up for Math 111. So I signed up for Math 111, and I get an A there too. And if you notice, like, throughout all this is just like hardship after hardship, or like, you know, sacrifice after sacrifice, and then eventually, like, this discipline is starting to build, and I'm starting to realize, like, damn, bro, I got a lot more control of my, you know, my situations than I ever even thought. And it's like, what's changing? Well, I'm taking accountability for everything. I don't have my GED. Am I gonna blame it on, like, that I was a teen parent, or am I just gonna say, you know what? Yeah, that sucks, but we can still go do it, right? I started taking accountability for everything, and just kept going and going and going with it. So then, once I took that Math 111 class, I went and I took the aptitude test, and I passed, bro. I passed. I got my letter. Boom. Did my interview. Ranked number 7 out of like 280. Like 2 months later, or no. Sorry, it was like 8 months later. I get a call. Your name is up. You're next on the list. Boom. I get a job. Now I'm an apprentice, right, in the electrical program. If you get a 75% on your overall grade in the apprenticeship, that's passing. If you get anything below that, twice in the 5 years of the apprenticeship, you're out. The first term, I got a 78%. And I was like, damn, dude. I was like right there to failing. And I just started the program. Well, then I realized dropping out at, 10th grade, I don't have very many test taking skills. I was able to do the college courses because it's just, you read the same thing, right? There's not. So then after I realized that, I'm like, dude, well, I'm gonna have to figure out how I can tighten this up, how I can get better at taking tests, reading and comprehending. Bro, it was tough. Everybody else would talk about, oh, I can get my homework done in like an hour or two. Bro, it would take me like 4 or 5 hours because I had to reread things at home on Saturdays. But like, what am I going to do? Am I going to complain about it, or am I just like, it is what it is, right? So it would take me longer to read and read and read. And sometimes I'd like get done with the page and I'm like, dude, I don't know what I just read. So I'd have to reread it again, right? And I just kept, again, telling myself, dude, I'm sorry. It is what it is. This is what you're going to have to do. Bro, after that, I was always in like the top 3 best grades in my class. And I didn't slow down.
Because you would take your time.
Yeah. And it was, but it
you
was
could
like,
either complain or make shit happen.
Yeah, that was the whole point. And that's, look at that, all those patterns. That's all it's been. It's you're either going to complain or you're just going to do something about it. So then once all that started working out, I got my license. I became an electrician, bought a house. My wife was doing her prereqs for nursing. We were paying for all that out of pocket. So we were making more money, me as an apprentice, but we couldn't buy a house quite yet because then she wasn't working full time and I was paying for her prereqs out of pocket. But same thing, we were watching other people make other financial choices, going on vacation, buying cars, doing all this stuff, while we're living in this trailer, holding it down with this plan of, we knew it was going to take us maybe 8-9 years. And we were going to look back one day and be like, dude, you're an electrician, you're a nurse, like, that's good money, right? Like, we did it. Like, those are respectable careers. Like, that's a big accomplishment for us. 8 years, all that happened, dude. 8 years later, all that happened. She becomes a nurse. We're sitting at a Dairy Queen parking lot eating ice cream as a family, me, her, and my kid. My kid's all grown now, and we're just like, damn, this is crazy, dude. 8 years of hard work, and here we are. We got the house, we got the truck, we got the good paying jobs, we got everything now. And that was after, and we had done 75 hard after that. And we're like, we're in good shape now. We're in the best shape we've ever been. Like, everything happened. It seemed like so fast, but it was 8 years of grinding, dude. And throughout those 8 years, you learn so much that's why I say now I feel unstoppable, dude, because I got something that a lot of people today don't have. Everyone right now lives in a world of instant gratification. Brother, I'm the type of guy that I set a goal when I was 28 to get my black belt in jiu-jitsu by the time I'm 40. And I'm going to get it. Nobody around me ever looks at me now and says, oh, he can't do it. It's a matter of how long. When my page started going up, everyone's like, oh, why are you surprised? Like, look who you're talking about. That's everyone around me. That's just how they see me now. Like, dude, if someone's going to get it done, it's this dude. And it's because of that. It's the 8 years. It's being able to accomplish these long-term goals. Brother, if you can do that, no one can stop you with anything. And if you think the most valuable things in life, they do require those long-term goals. A relationship with your kids, a relationship with your spouse, the job that you work at, even materialistically, dude, you buy a house, it's 30 years, right? Everything requires this long-term. So how you just said earlier, how long have you been tracking your macros 7 days a week? I'm like, dude, to me, it's only been like 3 years, right? But to me, 3 years is like, that's nothing, bro. That's absolutely nothing to me. And
what keeps you consistent?
Get some water real quick.
He's tracking his water, guys, live. He has to make sure he drinks a gallon.
What keeps me consistent? My wife, my kids, 100%, dude. 100%. Like, to me, there's no greater joy than, like, being a dad for me, because I didn't have a dad, you know? And it goes back to the discipline and a lot of us, you know, complaining about stuff, you know? I always say, having all these hardships, you can look at them either one of two ways, right? I can sit here and I can complain that I didn't have a dad and it really screwed me up and that's why I make poor choices. Or I could take all those emotions that I have of not having a dad and use them as a blueprint on what not to do as a dad, right?
I agree.
And that's what I do. That's what I do. I try to, in my head, I'm trying to be like the husband that I wish my mom could have had. I'm trying to be the father that my kids, you know, that they would idolize. Like, my daughter, dude, when I called you after when I was at that layover, she's like, she calls me FaceTime. She's like, Dad, I'm already having separation anxiety. Like, to her, bro, she's, 15, 16 now. No, she's 15. We're still holding hands in the grocery store. Like, I'm her superhero to her. All her friends know it. Like, my wife, I do so much for her. We just had we had a newborn, and to me, like, that's where a lot of the anxiety of drinking kicked in. Was like, I can't believe I wasn't in the right state of mind for them. God forbid something happens, dude, and you're the one who's supposed to protect them, and you're not in the right state of mind because you decided to have one too many. I couldn't live with that. You know what I mean?
Fuck no.
I couldn't live with that. And so for me, every day, I'm just striving to be like the best man I can for them. I want them to look at me and just be like, this sounds corny, but when I first started that whole transformation, when I was, on sleeping on that twin mattress, I said, dude, watch, one day I'm going to be that guy that when I walk in with my family, I don't even have to say anything, dude. They're going to be like, hey, that's him. That, there he is. And, dude, it happened. It's crazy. I'll be at grocery store sometimes now. My 15-year-old daughter, she's always like, Dad, they're talking about you, Or like if I go to a gym or if I go, you know what I mean? And it's this mindset for me of like, that's who I want to be. That's who I want to teach. That if I could be considered as like an influence to people, I think that's what we lack right now is like fatherhood, dude. Like there's a big fight between like machismo and actually being there for your kids and stuff like that, And I think that's harsh, dude. I think not having a dad does a lot of damage long term, dude. I remember everything. I remember the couple times that I got to spend with my dad. He was in jail a lot. Spent a lot of time in jail and then drank himself to death, and he died a couple years ago. So to me, when I was rethinking about my sobriety, that's always what I thought. Like, if this is genetic, right, and especially culturally, dude, alcoholism is something that's totally normalized, man. You know what I mean? How many times have we seen the drunken Theo in the corner, Or, hey, I thought, who's going to turn up way too hard, right? You already know who's going to be saying too much. You already know who's going to be a problem that night. And instead of us dealing with it, dude, what do? It kind of is what it is, right? It kind of is what it is, dude. And it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. So when I would look at that, then I would reevaluate myself and be like, man, is it just a matter of time before I'm that guy? Like, am I going to end up being that guy too? Like, I don't want to be that guy, man. I like that serves me no purpose for anyone. Right? And so somebody eventually has to break that cycle and get out. And again, the me versus me, if nobody around you ever shows you like, bro, you can do so much more, how are you ever gonna be exposed to it?
How did growing up without a father must have been difficult? So how did that affect you, and how did you handle him passing away?
During my sobriety, I guess I'll restart. I'm still not over it. I don't think I'm ever going to get over it because there are certain questions that I have that make it hard. Like, think about this. Everything I've told you that I've done with my life, right? Mm-hmm. And I think of it as like the corny saying we all have the same 24, right? I just think like, how come he couldn't have made any change? Why didn't he ever decide, like, in those moments of when he was away from us, drugs, alcohol, like, how come it never came to him like, damn, dude, my kids are at home right now. You know what I mean? And that shit hurts. Like, that shit, I'm like, man, I could never walk away from my kids. Ever, dude, never. Like, and so to me, like, that shit really hurts, okay?
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Now let's get back to the episode.
So dealing with it in the beginning was like, when he got out of jail, it's almost like I met him for the first time when I was like 13, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a cool moment for me because I got to go. He was down in Mexico. He got deported. So I was down there, and for a month I got to say the word dad. And I was like, this is sick, dad. You know what I mean? Like, it was like so cool to me, dude. And so, and he was sober the first time I saw him. He stayed sober, dude, and it was super cool. And he was a little bit different, someone who comes with that, past. There's some stuff that happened psychologically. So, but I didn't care, man. I was like, that's my pops, right? And then having to hug him and say goodbye, dude. Man, dude, you know what I mean? We're leaving Mexico, so I was only there for a month, and then the next time I went to go see him, like, he got back to his old ways. And it was just like, I was young, but I was young enough to think, like, dude, I'm only here for 3 weeks. Like, how could you be this drunk right now? You're not going to remember any of this, right? And so it really fucking hurt me, dude. It was like a stab again, and I was like, damn, dude, like, I'm only going to get to see you a little while. And then I got to see him again when I was like 20, same thing. And then at that point, I'm like, well, I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to do about this, Then by the time when he passed away, I think I was like 26, 27. And it was weird because I got the phone call, and then I just called my wife. I'm like, hey, my dad passed away. And she, she said, what are you going to do? I was like, well, I got to go down to Mexico and take care of this, But I never stopped loving him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's why, to me, I take it, like, I see it nowadays a lot, people put a lot of blame on their parents. And to me, that, like, on a personal level, it does hurt me because I'm like, I mean, that was his first time at life. That was his first time being a dad. I like to think that he tried his best. I like to think that everybody's parents tried their best, right? Even if it's a little delusional, it helps me feel a little bit better, right? To think that my mom gave it her all. I mean, I don't see why she wouldn't. I mean, think about it, dude. They risked their lives to come across to a country. They didn't know the language. At the time, I could say they probably weren't accepted. They weren't catered to at all. There was no promises here. They might not even know anybody here, bro. It was just, allá están los billetes y vamos a ir al fil. You know what I mean? The thought of buying a house, I don't even think was a thing, right? Like, so I like to think, like, just them doing that for all of us that are here today, like, bro, they really cared. They really cared about you. And so I kept that in mind all the time whenever I would think about him. I'm like, man, he tried his best, dude. He tried his best, and unfortunately, like, it didn't work out. Not too long ago, I shared a story, too, about, like, there's this, like, bum that I would see that I'd give money to. And low-key, every time I've seen, like, bums, it's kind of sad to say, but, like, I think of my dad, So when I see them, I always treat them with the most respect. Yeah. I hand him a couple bucks, and I see him. It's a weird thing that, your body starts doing when you're that much of an alcoholic, your fingers start getting a little weird. And, if you have a past with, like, drugs and stuff like that, like, and so I see these guys, and I see, I'm like, damn, dude, that's how my dad was, man, And so I would, like, it hurts me to see them like that because I reflect on that. I'm like, dude, think about it. If that was my dad right now, that's someone's dad, dude. That's someone's dad. Like, I'm just at least going to go bless him with, like, $10 or something, And so all those thoughts just never go away, dude. All those thoughts never go away. Then when my dad died, I went down there, and there he was in a casket, super small, super frail. Did the whole funeral thing, put his last blanket over him, closed that coffin, and said, that's it. Held no anger towards him, no nothing, dude. But the sad part is, like, you think back, dude, it was alcohol.
It's poison.
That's all it was, dude. It was alcohol, man. That's why I'm so passionate about that, because I'm like, dude, you don't even. And then now, man, when I brought my oldest, when I brought her home, I cried so much because I'm like, damn, I wish you could be here. I wish you could see this. Maybe seeing this would have changed you, And then he was still around at the time. But then, and then my second one, like, I thought the same thing. I'm like, dude, here I am with my kid again, and my wife, she just kind of rubs my back, and she's like, it is what it is. I'm like, dude, yeah, it's sad, bro. It's so sad. And I'm seeing my kids. I'm like, bro, the joy that I feel being sober now. I remember early days after 75 hard, I was driving with my family. We went out to eat. We like to look up restaurants and try new places, right? So we went out to this restaurant and we were coming back home, and I remember like it was yesterday, dude. We went to the Little Roadhouse in Salem, and the song that was playing was that song by Post Malone, right?
Yeah.
And so we're all in the car, and we're on my truck, and we're all singing, dude. And I'm singing, and I got tears coming down my eyes. I got tears, and I'm driving, and my wife looks over, and she just kind of holds my hand, and we get home. She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Dude, I don't think I've ever been this happy in my life. I've never been this happy, and I don't know if to feel good about, like, my emotions are fighting right now between like regret and like that so many moments like this were wasted because of the alcohol, or like let's just be happy now that's not there." And then I think of my dad, how many moments we could have had like that as a family, right? And so all that is just haunting you, dude. All that is just getting into you, and my daughter's in the back, happy as can be. She has no idea, right?
I think forgiveness is very important.
It's huge.
You have to forgive yourself.
It's huge.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever sat and been like, you know what, it's okay?
Yeah, I have, which it has to do with, I found this beautiful thing called Stoicism.
Mm-hmm.
Stoicism, for those who don't know, is just like you can't control the world, but you can control the way that you feel, the way that you react, right? And so that's huge for me. So now when I think, I'm like, all those moments of regret, JR, they were meant to happen.
Absolutely.
That way I could be here today. Like, how else, unfortunately, that sad past of the way I grew up, and dude, like even minute things, man. I remember on Father's Day when I was in grade school, you make the little cards. Who am I taking that home to? Why is it, you know what I mean? I'd be there drawing it out too and everything. Who is that? That's not going to anyone. Let me ask you this. Fuck. Let me ask you this.
You think it's the same thing not having a father and people that had a father that wasn't present?
I think it's man, that's tough, because at least my answers, I can be a little bit delusional and say that they tried, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the ones who the dad is still around but not with them, that's even harder, dude. At that point, it's like they didn't, like, what, did they not want you? I don't know, right? And those answers are, I mean, how can you even cope with that?
I also think that culturally, we're doing a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
And our parents, the way they were raised, I think this is all cycles.
Yeah, it is.
And they never broke it.
Yeah.
And guess what? You can.
Yeah.
I can.
Exactly. And see, my problem with that now, JR, to add to that, when we break them, then we shouldn't go then blaming our parents for them not breaking them. And I see that, dude. I see that, and it hurts me. I'm like, dude, your parents tried as hard as they could. I'm sorry that they couldn't be the ones to break it. But you now are the one that's going to change all that. From here on out, it stops with you.
And I think we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But I think it comes with age, maturity, and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because now I can't blame my parents.
No, right?
I'm more understanding and more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, God damn, fuck. My grandpa, rest in peace, was what? Damn.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, you go back just
they
a
were
couple
poor
generations.
and they fucking didn't have shit.
Yeah,
and
dude.
it's like, damn, we had everything here.
Yeah.
So now it comes, because we come from a position of privilege, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to look back and see, like,
it was hard, bro.
it was hard for them because they had a fucked up childhood, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, in essence, they really tried their best.
They tried their best. They did. Whatever resources they had, they tried, man. And like I said, at least Call me delusional for it, dude. I'd rather be a little bit loony on that part and think that they did try their best. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it gives us more comfort.
Exactly.
They tried.
Yeah, they
and
tried.
if you ask them, they'll really tell you, like, hey, we tried.
Yeah.
Like, how many Mexican American kids that grew up here, that are first generation, had a school play, and only their mom was there?
Yeah.
Because
Dad was working.
And they will not miss a day.
Nope.
Ni madres.
Brother, before all that, when I dropped out, I was working in La Uva. I was working in Los Pinos. I was working in La Fresa. I was working in the Blueberry. I was working La Cherry. All of it, dude. Right? And just trying to figure it out. Right? Just trying to figure it out. Not knowing that if I would have got my high school diploma or a GED, I could have became an electrician and made, 140K plus a year doing that. But nobody in our community, nobody ever came out and said, hey, bro, you ever thought about the trades, right? And even then when we think construction, it's always sheetrockers, roofers, right? Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, those are well-paid trades too. But, bro, the state licensed ones in Oregon, plumbers, electricians, linemen, they're all making 60 and over an hour on the check. You know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty good living. But nobody's ever like teaching us some of these things, right? We're just watching our dads like work, or I say our dads like, why, but I watch my grandpa do it. And I kind of had that mindset too of like work. I used to brag about like, I haven't called in like 6 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
That's how, dude, I went a long time, right?
Employee of the year right here.
But
not
then
a month, a year.
Eventually then, I would see memories of my daughter growing up, dude. And I'm just like, damn, I missed this. Damn, I came home early from this camping trip. Damn, like, you know what I mean? I missed a lot. And then eventually it was like, bro, this isn't the point. This isn't why they brought us here, man. Like, we gotta start making, we gotta take some calculated risk and venture out and see what we can do to try to start building towards. Even then, dude, when I bought a house, I didn't know who to go to, right? But now when my daughter goes to buy a house, hey, Dad, what do you think? Oh, yeah, X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of things that, unfortunately, like, it'd be as first generation, right? Like, we didn't sign up for, but we're gonna have to go through it, right? And that stoicism will help you with that a lot.
But we gotta take it further than that. Not just teach our family. Just try to teach teach our community collectively.
I was going to high schools and teaching about the trades, trying to get these high school kids to come in. And I'm like, I'm not saying you have to be an electrician, but what I am saying is if you get out of high school, don't know what to do, you do this, get your license, you will always have a license that you can fall back on that pays you over $100K a year. Go get that license. And then by the time you're 21, and I'll even take it a step further, dude. In business, how many businesses can you say that are guaranteed to succeed? I don't think there's any, right?
None.
I'll tell you one that I'm almost positive will. An electrical company in Oregon, because you need to have a supervisor's license in order to open a shop, or you need to have somebody at your shop that has that license. The only way to get that license is 5 years of the apprenticeship, 5 years as a journeyman, pass a test that only I think 3 or 5% of people pass. Like, it's ridiculously low. And then you get that supervisor's license, and now you can open a shop, or someone can hire you to be the signing supervisor to have a shop.
Really?
Think about the monopoly that you can create there. You know what I mean? Like, but these are things like, that's what I'm saying, that, and even then with that license, dude, oh my gosh, you will get so many job offers because they want you as the signing supervisor, right? So they can open up a shop. And so, but even now when I go to job sites, it's like most people don't, at least I think in Cali it's different. In Oregon, it's like, oh, the Mexicans, the electrician? Like, damn,
Now, we have a lot of electricians here.
Yeah. And that's cool. And I think, oh, that's awesome. And we should be like, I try, then when I'm going to the youth and I'm telling them, kind of like, hey, that's how I pitch it to them. Like, dude, you might not. And here's the hard reality for some of us. our parents might not have that money to go to college, bro.
Yep.
And that's something hard to accept, right? But I think of it as like, bro, it's unfortunate, but you're going to have the money to send your kids to college. And this is something I know you didn't sign up for, but like you might be that stepping stone for the rest of the generations that come ahead of you. And again, I can't say it enough. Maybe you didn't sign up for it, but bro, trust me, you're gonna be the one that took that leap of faith. They're gonna look back. I know they're gonna look back at me as like, he's the one who bought the house. He's the one who did the fitness thing. He's the one even now with social media, right? And so I'm building all this for them, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I know I'm going to be more tired. I know I'm going to have to put in extra work, just like I had to read a little bit more than everyone else to pass those tests. I know I'm going to have to go to GED. I know I have to do all this. It sucks. But what am I going to do? Am I going to complain, or am I just like, hey, man, this is the circumstances. This is the cards that we were dealt.
Well, there's two types of people, right? The people that complain and the people that just make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
and you can't stop those.
no.
As much as you try to level the playing field, brother, there's always going to be outliers. And I'm one of them. If you ever, no matter what it is, dude, teach me how to play. One day I was in jiu-jitsu, and my buddy Frank said, have you ever gone to hiking? I said, no. And he said, do you want to start hiking? I said, no. And he said, why? I said, give me a year. I'm going to want to climb Mount Everest. Like I'm just wired like that, dude. And I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of us are wired with this like addictive personality. But I've always, once I managed to steer that and realize like, dude, this is just something, unfortunately, that you have. Why don't we try to use it for good? Why do I track my meals 7 days a week? Even subconsciously. I've said in videos, when I'm on vacation, I don't track. I still count them. I'm like, dude, I probably ate, like, you know what I mean? No, it's addiction, dude.
How would you count fish tacos?
Fish tacos?
Like, how do you know how many calories are in there?
It's going to be regular tortillas, so it's going to be 21 grams of carbs per 2 tortillas. Okay.
Dipped in
oil?
fried.
Yeah. The oil part, I'll tell you how at the end, I just throw that in, right? Then the piece of fish, the fish is going to be lean. It's going to be some sort of white fish. It's going to be a cod or a halibut, more than likely a cod, unless you're at a fancy place, right? So that's going to be like 25 grams of, I think it's like 25 grams of protein for 4 grams of fish. And then you're going to account for your beer batter, which is going to be heavy on the carbs. That's where all the carbs are going to start coming in. Yeah. And then your sauce, they're probably going to be using regular mayo, probably like a chipotle mayo or something, And so that's going to add even more calories to that. Right? But it's okay to enjoy those things, dude. If you're keeping a balance of like, I'm eating, I say it like this. Let's say you eat 100 meals in a week. Make sure 95 of them are clean. And make sure those other 5 count. Right? And by meals, I mean like it could be a snack. It could be, whatever. That also, how many times have you been maybe like driving home and you're like, oh, I'm hungry. I could wait or I could eat. And you just stop at like Jack in the Box, right? Whatever. Now, to me, I'm like, nah, Jack in the Box, that's like 1,500 calories. There's this place that I really like. If I'm really that hungry, I'll just spend those calories tomorrow, right?
Damn.
And you start
that
thinking
takes
like
discipline, though.
You don't be like, I comida en la casa. Like,
Yeah.
Don't stop by Jack in the Box. I come in
Yeah, well, I'll do that. Yeah, if I'm really hungry and I'm about to splurge on Jack, I'll splurge on my on as many carne asada tacos that I want at the house.
Is that your favorite Mexican food?
Carne asada tacos. Yeah, tacos, dude. Love tacos. Look at my eyes.
So this guy wants to. So you want to go to Carreta already? I'm
Yeah.
starving, bro. I haven't ate.
And again,
No. I take that back. I haven't.
And I'm so.
I got a super eat, so the tacos will get here in 10 minutes.
Oh.
The Cuatro Vientos one.
Oh, no way.
And then go to Carreta.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm sorry that like I know we're supposed to be talking about health and fitness, and
No,
we should get back
supposed
on
to
that.
talk about what your story, what we feel is.
But
It's been a great conversation, so don't be sorry.
Oh, thank you, dude.
Yeah, bro. I don't want you to feel that this is organic conversation. This is not scripted. I don't have a fucking screen right here saying, hey, no,
Yeah.
this is good.
And
this is really good.
The thing with all that, the reason that I have to talk about all that is because the food plays such a minute part of it, but notice every action I just said, you guys are like, that takes discipline, that takes discipline. You got to find that discipline, bro. And that's why, like, if we tag back on 75 Hard, 75 Hard, what it does is it at least teaches you how far you can push those limits, dude. Mm-hmm. Even if you make it a day 45, bro, right? I had somebody tell me they made it to day 45 and they fell asleep when they were reading their book. Okay, but you made it that many days, you now established a new threshold for how far you can push something. Mm-hmm. Dude, I had never read a book. I had never read a book till the age of 31.
Stop it, bro.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that,
How
dog.
old are you right now, by the way?
32.
32. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's last year.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, I was 30. Read my first book. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Then after that, Extreme Ownership by Jocko. Then after that, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
All right, though.
Then after that, the 38 letters that J.D. Rockefeller left to his son. Then after that, Pick Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David.
I read that one.
Then after that, what else? There's one that I'll tell you off air. Mm-hmm. And then there's one that I actually want to gift to you.
What? We got a gift? Damn.
This is a copy of Marcus Aurelius Meditations. It's a resale from Ryan Holiday.
Damn.
So the beginning of that book talks about who Marcus Aurelius was. Do you know who he was?
No.
He was an emperor of Rome.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very well known Stoic.
It's based off that movie, right?
Sort of. They didn't portray him that good in that movie.
All right.
The beginning is that, but it gives you a quick background of him. Once you start getting into book 1, book 2, Marcus Aurelius was one of the best emperors of Rome. He had 8 kids. Back in the day, dude, you would live maybe 12. If you didn't live to be 12, you would live to be like 50, right? It was like no in between. It was crazy. People would die. Like, you'd get a cut, dude, and you'd get a disease, you're dead. There's no medicine, right?
Oh, shit.
So people were dying left and right. Marcus Aurelius had 8 kids. One of them made it to be the emperor after him, Commodus, and he was just the complete opposite of Marcus. Okay, Marcus Aurelius kept a journal of notes that he would tell himself every day, all about being stoic, right? Being stoic, and so all that writing was then translated to English and published in a book. Those notes were never meant to be out to anyone. Those were notes that he made for himself. And there's some stuff in that book, bro.
I'm gonna read it.
You read
completely.
it, and like I said, the beginning is just the story. But after that, you can open just a random page. I recommend using a highlighter as you go, the ones that hit the hardest. Bro, you'll read some stuff in there that you're like, bro, deep, dude, deep. There's the 3 most known Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and I can't say his name, Epictetus, I think.
Okay.
And all 3 of them, you'll see a lot of quotes. There's a lot of quotes that go out that I see that were based off of what the Stoics said. But a lot of people don't know who the Stoics were.
Okay.
Like one of my favorite ones that I think it's again, I can't say his name. It's EP some.
Okay.
He said, if you say something that offends me, it's my fault if I'm offended. It's a lot of stuff like that, right? You can't control the world, but you can control how you're going to approach things, right?
How do you react?
Do you
think the majority, the way you react to things
is everything,
is
bro.
everything.
Everything. You know what my mindset is now when something bad happens? Good. Because I know something's going to come out of it. I know it never fails, dude. It never fails. And this is where I will get a little religious with you. There's a plan, bro. The man up above, he has that plan. As soon as you start questioning it, everything just makes sense. Everything just goes, bro. Everything goes. Like everything I told you. Why did I fail my test? So I could get a little bit more education and start prepping me for what was going to come with taking those extra college courses, right? Why did my father walk out on us? So I could learn to be the dad that I was today. Everything is happening, dude. I lost my best friend when I was 16 years old, bro. 16 years old. He was my uncle. We were together all the time. When he crashed, my grandma called me, couldn't tell me. People were calling me, and they wouldn't say what was wrong, but they just were making sure that I wasn't with him, right? And I remember that was my first close death, and I remember you said you've never had anybody close pass away, and it was crazy, dude. It was the craziest experience because I felt like everything was crumbling. I felt like I didn't know what to do. I couldn't believe it, dude. I was like calling his phone over and over. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, no, there's no way. And then the hardest part for me was when my day kept going, people kept coming, and then eventually that day ended, and then the next day came. I had to go to the store, buy some stuff, and I'm walking into the store, dude. My world is crumbling. I'm devastated, man. I can't believe I just lost my best friend. The cashier is just like, hey, how's it going? How's your day? People are buying groceries. The world is just going, dude. No one's stopping for me. And I'm just like inside like, bro, doesn't anybody know he just died? Nobody knew who he was. You know, they don't know who he was. I know who he was. But to me, my world was ending. Nothing else around me was. And you know what that taught me? The world keeps going, bro. As much as it sucks, dude, every hardship you have, to you think like everybody should be down on their knees and crying with you. I'm sorry, that's just not how it works, man. And that's a hard reality for people, that people can't swallow that pill. They think like their problems is going to be like everyone's just going to halt. And that's not how it works, dude. And you got to be resilient, dude. There's a lot of things that are going to come at you at life that you got to learn to just adapt and keep going, dude, as hard as it is. But no one's going to stop, dude. And I think a lot of people haven't gone through that, which is why people react the way that they do, because you don't know, you haven't experienced that feeling of like complete trauma where, like I said, you still have to go to work. And even then, the funeral's done, you know, coffin's closed. A week goes by, you're still not over it, dude. But everyone else that was calling you kind of petered off now, you know. Everyone went back to their jobs. Everyone went back to their family, and you're still devastated. But you still got to keep going. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's the sad reality of life, is that you have to be resilient with it. If not, I think that's how people fall like into addiction and stuff, because they could never move on. And I've heard those stories, and they're sad, dude. I knew a guy who he lost a son when he was young, homeless. And it's like, what happened? I never moved on. You know what I mean? And it's fucking sad, dude. But again, it goes back to the man above, dude. He had a plan for me. And I've gone through so many things, dude. Some that I've told you here and some other extras, that if I would have never have learned to go through hardships like that, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be the same 227-pound Chuy who's drinking every freaking weekend, dude. You know?
Fuck. Is there levels when it comes to grief?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there... not levels. How would I say it? Categories? No.
Stages?
There you go.
Yeah.
Is there stages to grief?
Yeah. And I'm working on them, dude. I'm working on them. I remember when I did lose my dad, I was listening to a guy named Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
And it's kind of unfortunate what happened to him too, you know, recently with his stuff. But I read his book too. Was it 12 Rules of Life? I think it is, or something like that.
I'm not sure.
It was a while ago. But I remember in a speech he said, you got to be the strongest person at your father's funeral, you know. Yeah, man. I wasn't. I wasn't, dude. I was young. But nobody ever taught me that. Nobody ever taught me that, right? I was just now starting to learn. And, you know, some people have mixed opinions about Jordan Peterson. And regardless of what people say, like, at the time I was, there wasn't a lot of people who were really talking about, like, the absence of fatherhood and kind of how to, the basic stuff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I still remember, dude, when I started being an electrician, I couldn't read a tape measure. And low-key, some people laughed, you know, but it was like, because it was like didn't your dad teach you? You know what I mean? It's like,
it wasn't
he
here.
wasn't here, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean. And so there's a lot of, you know, how are you how to be a good husband, how to be a good, you know, things that you got to take care of. And so I really took that to heart. You got to be the toughest person at your father's funeral. And I'm mentally, I even fucking hate talking about it like this, but I'm mentally preparing for, you know, if one day my grandpa leaves, because that's who I grew up with, you know. But it is in the beginning, dude. It's like nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense, and it's a little traumatizing because I remember to this day I still do it. If me and you are talking to each other, and ask anybody who knows me, they're like, dude, I've never seen this dude sad, because I still have that in my head. It could be the last time I ever see you, bro. And I want that last interaction to be good. I don't care what you think or what you said. Even if you hurt me, I still want it to be good, because it could be the last time I see you. Every day when I leave to work, I kiss my wife, my kids, my dog, you know, and I'm like, because it could be the last time. And a lot of people don't realize that, dude. A lot of people just go about their life saying shit, doing stuff where I'm like, dude, you know that argument that you just had with your dad, God forbid something happens to him as he's driving home. And that's it. That's all you had.
When you bring that up, you know what came to mind right now? Which I know you know what I'm going to say. What happened to Charlie?
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's sad, bro.
Do you think he kissed his kids? I don't even want to talk about it because then I get all.
I know.
I've been angry lately.
Well, that's
I
like,
told you.
Yeah,
so.
that's why, like, to me, you know, people have all sorts of emotions about it, and I try to, you know, just not really talk about stuff, you know, on politics and stuff like that, because I'm here. I want to help everyone, dude. Yeah. I don't ever want anybody to come to me and think that, like, I can't come to you because I feel this way about this, or I feel this way about that. You know what I mean? I don't want any. I want everybody to be the best version that they can of themselves. And sometimes, you know, like when certain situations are happening, whether you know, laws that are passed, or you know, we had the ICE stuff and all that, and the wars that are going on. I always think, dude, the kids, bro, the kids, because I think of me. I think of like everything I had to go through as a kid. And I'm like, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the argument is, where anybody is, like, I always just fall back on the kids, because the kids, dude, they're innocent. Nobody, you know what I mean? They're not asking for any of this, dude. And that's what hurts to me as a father. Like I said, I see everything that's going on TV, and immediately I think, like, damn, dude, you just told me what's my purpose, like, to be there for my wife and kids. And I just think, what if something happens and I can't be there? That shit, God, dude, that shit, it hurts me. It hurts me in a way that I'm just like, I can't ever imagine it. And then again, to go even deeper, how we said about the ones that do decide to walk away. I mean, I'm not shaming them, but it's like, just know, bro, I'm turning 33 years old. I never got over not having my dad, and I don't think I'm ever going to get over it. So if you're in a situation where you know your drinking or any addiction that you have is leading you down the path that you know could potentially take you from your kids, don't wait for something to happen to do it, to make a change. Lots of people, they'll wait till something happens, and I'm like, don't wait till something happens, dude. Be proactive about it. Do something now, because I'm telling you, those kids, they're never gonna forget it. They're never gonna forget it. I'm here. I guarantee you, every kid that I have, I'm gonna cry when I bring them home.
Amen to that, man. It's I think trauma. There's a lot of trauma from. We all deal with trauma, some way, somehow. But I think knowing what was done wrong to us, it's like if you repeat what they did to you, then there's no change here. And you're just as guilty.
And unfortunately, that's sometimes like what people are falling into, is like, because it's not, dude, yeah. I mean, I think about everything that I told you that I had to go through. I had every reason to just say, It didn't work out. I could have. I did it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie, dude. I feel silly sometimes. Bro, I was on the plane taking off, and I'm like, man, I'm 33, 32 years old flying to do a podcast in LA. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who am I? You know what I mean? And it's just like, but it's okay. It's okay to, this has been a hard conversation that I've had with my coach, with people around me, because again, I didn't have a father figure like that I could go to for advice like that. My grandpa was there for me a lot, but on like being a man stuff, I don't have anybody that I could go to. And then add on top of that, treading waters that, trying to go places that nobody around you has ever gone, you feel a little lost. And you feel sometimes like, man, am I really making the right decisions? And I thank God for my wife, because she's always super supportive. Her family too, dude. My mother-in-law, she's over. Oh man, she's like, she's always the one that's like, did you see what they wrote? Like, comment or something. She's like, they don't even know what they're talking. So they're really cool, man. They're all really cool people. They've been super accepting of my daughter too. I had her before.
That's amazing, brother.
And even my relationship with the mother of my firstborn, we have a very good relationship. Very good. She's remarried. She has kids. We just did a whole quinceañera for
No way.
And we planned it as a group. And then she had an Airbnb, and we went as a family to the Airbnb, and then my baby's mom is holding my newborn, and everyone's getting together, because we're there for the again. Yeah. I can't say it enough, and that's why if we're there for the kids. And that's why I get so upset when, whatever the argument is, and I'm just making the argument out of, dude, what about the kids? Because I care about the kids. Maybe, I think they say troubled kids end up becoming the person who probably could have saved them. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to save as many as I can, dude.
It's all about the kids, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about being a good role model, being a good parent, and breaking generational curses, brother.
Yeah, dude.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Bro.
And we can do it.
Oh, it's being done.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm doing that now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to make the same mistakes I made back then.
Nope.
Nope. So, shit. This got good. You have any questions before we go eat the tacos you order?
Yeah, I already asked them the question earlier. So I'm good.
Anything you want to add?
No, dude. Again, I'm sure we'll have another one, and we'll get a little bit more into the health and fitness, but we did touch on it pretty good. It's just there's levels to this, dude. Like, there's not levels, but there's a breakdown to why all this works. And I think the discipline is so huge, and I had never really put all this stuff about me out there. And I knew when I saw when I started listening to your podcast, I've listened to, I always quote you on, hey, you said this, you said that. I always think about, like, I wanted to go on a podcast, but I wanted to go on something that was a little bit more where we could have these type of mature conversations, and we were making sure that we're hitting the target audience that we should. And then from there, then we can move on to the health and fitness stuff, and teaching people a little bit more.
Let's end it with this. I want to ask you, how did Andy Frisella change your life?
Andy Frisella is the reason why I stopped drinking, which is huge. And he potentially just stopped a generational curse without even knowing it, which is even crazier to me. That 75 hard thing. And I remember when I finished 75 hard, it was super hard for me to live around everyone else, because I just kept telling myself, bro, you have the potential to do so much more, but you haven't been tested. You got to test yourself a little bit, And doing 75 hard put me through a mindset change to where I really, really tested everything. I really tested, like, how much time I was spending on my phone, how much time I was spending talking to people at the gym, how much time I was spending, just all these little things. And you start realizing how much extra time you actually have. And then when I was done, I remember I tagged him in the 75 hard post, and then I tagged him again on a couple other posts, and then I'm like, I'm going to keep tagging him, because this dude is somebody who I know he's all about discipline and long-term goals. and he ended up seeing my last post, and he followed me back. And I like a little freaking fanboy, dude. I wake up, I'm screaming. My wife's like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, oh!" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh!" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Andy Frisella followed you." And I was like, and then he did a podcast then, 75 Verses, and he was talking to a girl on there about, her 75 Hard and what she learned. And then he said, "Yeah, I just seen a post yesterday of this guy who's celebrating his sobriety since 75 Hard. That's badass, man." And I was like, "I'm that guy,"
That's dope. Salute to you and salute to him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, he's good. And see, the problem is, like, I think a lot of people his stuff is so upfront that it's hitting an audience. It's hitting two type of people. It's hitting the people that want the help, and it's hitting the people that I said that don't want the help, and that's why they become the enemy. As soon as you try to help somebody that doesn't want any help, dude, you become. I've seen it with anything, dude. With food, with alcohol, with whatever it is, dude. As soon as you try to start helping somebody, how quick are they to just like, "Nah, I don't have a problem," and then they'll start pointing your stuff out or something, and then you're kind of like, "Well, then he's right. He kind of has a point. Maybe I'm not the best at X, Y, and Z." And then next thing you know, that conversation is never brought up, and nobody ever fixes anything. Right? Isn't that usually how it goes?
Yeah. Right.
And then so with him, a lot of his like motivational talk and stuff is just like, it's so good. He says, everything that he says
the truth. I
Yeah.
fuck with everything he says.
Everything whenever he's talking about self-discipline and accountability, I try to teach this to people. Like, dude, I know it's gonna suck. I know you maybe you're overweight. I get it. It might not be your fault. Like, yeah, your parents taught you some poor eating habits, and maybe you didn't have the money for it, and that's why you're overweight now. But we can change, man. We can make a change. It's gonna be hard, and maybe you didn't sign up for it, but trust me, you
Make
can
the
do
change.
it.
It could be done. You did it.
Yeah,
And you could do it too.
I got two things more. So
More gifts. That's right. Oh shit! I seen that one.
El Valiente?
Let me see.
El Valiente.
Oh shit! I get my own. So like, once I start cooking in the new spot,
Yeah.
damn, this is my shit right here. I can't show it to my mom, so she's gonna try to keep it.
And then I got you. So I guess this would be a good way. We're starting to wrap it up, but when I got my electrical license, my wife became a nurse. We had our house, bro. We were set. It's both good paying jobs, and it took us years to get there, and we're like, this is it, dude. We're here. We're good, right? But once you start being that disciplined and seeing changes, you can't turn it off, man. I don't know if it's an addiction thing, but you just can't turn it off. You'll find something new to venture to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So just make sure it's something that you enjoy and something that's productive and something that's healthy. For me, that was jiu-jitsu. I found jiu-jitsu. Like, that to me has been... It's funny because I rarely talk about it because I feel like so personal with it. Like, it's like my little... You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like... It's the one place where I don't feel like I'm the best at. It's the one place... And by I don't feel the best at is, guess what? Every day I go in, I get to learn. Every day, because I'm not the best at it. Right? So every day I get to learn. Every day I get to be tested. How much more beautiful can that be? Right? So no matter what, I'm never comfortable there. Okay? And there's a little saying that my coach says. He says, comfort is a slow death.
Damn. I'm gonna wear this at the gym, dog.
Comfort.
Oh, and it's the expensive one right here, dog. This is the material I like.
Yeah. Comfort is a slow death, dude.
See that? Comfort kills.
Yeah,
Kills
man.
dreams, kills desires, and it kills your potential.
You start to get comfortable. You know
Why
what
do
I mean?
you think? Okay, see, now I could just fucking keep going.
Tell me.
Listen, dog. what creates comfort? Like if we take a deep dive.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy. There's no more unknown. What's the unknown? There's no more. You're not challenged anymore. Think about, for me, it's super easy to talk about it from a jiu-jitsu point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could be going against, I just got my purple belt. I could be going against a guy now. I'm competing next Saturday. I just got my purple belt. I could be going against a guy who's about to get his brown belt. Brown belt is 7 years of training. Purple belt is 5 years of training. I'm at the bottom end. I could be going against a guy who's about, like, his coach might be like, this is it. After this, he's getting his brown belt, right? And you see, there's an unknown. I don't know. So the comfort part would be, I got my purple belt. It's good. We're good. I already competed a couple of times. Now I don't have to deal with the nerves or I lost in front of my wife. You know? Shit. You got your ass beat, dude. Everyone at the gym thinks so high and mighty of you, and it's like, dude, they beat Chuy. When you're smashing people all the time. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I could just stay there. Why? You know what I mean? Hey, you said you just, I don't know if we could say this yet, but you said you got a new place.
Yes, yeah. No, people know. Yeah.
Why not just stay here? Why?
No
most people would stay here, right? That
yeah,
be
because every stage serves its purpose in life.
But not everyone knows that. See, tell me, weren't you nervous when you bought that new place?
I was really nervous.
Right?
I think I had a little. It was a lot.
Bro, how many guys don't want to go up to girls because they're nervous? Think about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point.
It's the same way.
They're afraid of fear and rejection.
Yeah. If you're comfortable, you don't have to face fear. You don't have to face rejection. You don't have to face failure. You never tried. You just chill there. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
And that's the hard part about working out that people don't understand, dude. That's a hard reality that hits. Once you lose that weight, baby, it ain't done. Now you got to keep it off.
That's the hard part.
So if that lifestyle, if that keto, if that carnivore, if all that got you there, you think you're going to be able to keep it up for the rest of your life? Because I know there's going to be days when I'm going to eat a bag of hot Cheetos and stay within my calorie deficit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
And that's just the reality of it. And some people don't think about it like that, dude. Weight loss is not a challenge. Weight loss is a whole lifestyle that you got to change, dude. And you got to start tackling at all those bad habits that you have, and it'll create a snowball effect. And then before you know it, you're going to start venturing out to other things that aren't right in your life, dude. And you'll start fixing other relationships with other things that you have. And then before you know it, dude, you're outdoing everybody around you. And now you've outgrown everyone, and you're like, dude, holy cow, now what do I do? Do I stay in comfort, or do I use this now to fly to LA and do a podcast?
And here you are, True Hustle Podcast, baby.
You know what I mean?
Shit.
That's how it goes.
Man, you're right. I think people need to start challenging themselves more. Stop staying in the comfort zone. And you need to start believing a little bit in yourself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people doubt themselves a little bit too much.
Well, that's all I heard growing up, man. That's all I heard growing up. That would make me so mad, dude, is I'd always hear, you'd hear statistics from like race to people growing up without a dad to teen parents. Bro, I proved all those wrong. I made all those statistics. I took them and I said, screw it, dude. I'm going to surpass it all. And back then, dude, that used to be my fuel, man. And that's what Patrick Bet-David talks about. He says, choose your enemies wisely, dude. When I was at my lowest, man, so many people around me were doubting me. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. That comeback is going to be so hard. That comeback is going to be so hard. You guys I'm not even going to have to say a word, man. Watch. People are going to see me. One day I'm going to be known, and you guys are going to see me and be like, holy crap, dude, that was the dude. You remember that dude? That dude was, this, and that. And then now I see so many people around me that is what they get. They get a lot of people doubting them. And you know what they do? They let that get them down. I'm like, bro, that's your fuel. That is what's going to, that right there. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, it's not healthy. Dude, who cares? The feeling of proving everyone wrong who doubted you, oh, bro, it's one of the best feelings out there. You know what I mean? It's one of the best feelings out there, dude. Oh, I can't do it. Watch this. But then once you get to those levels, dude, and you're starting to be like where I'm at, there's something else that you got to learn how to do. And you know what that is? Deal with pressure, dude, because now everybody believes in you.
Ooh.
Now what?
Damn, that
now
part.
What? Now what? If you can't do it, it's like, bro, if he couldn't do it, you know? And that's why this part of my life now is all like, it's fun. It's fun because I have built such a strong mindset with everything around me that I know whatever I try. Like, if I fail at something, I know there's going to be something that comes out of it. You know what I mean? If I sold my cookbook and I didn't sell enough, well, maybe I got to do a couple changes here and there. Or, hey, at least I learned how to make one, publish it, and use some sort of online store to sell. There, I got some value out of it. You got to look at everything like that. Everything is going to come with some sort of value, dude. Even burning your hand on the freaking stove. I bet you won't do that again. You know what I mean? Like, everything has a lesson. It's just you have to look for it there. And call me delusional for thinking that way, but I'll tell you what, dude, I live a very happy life, and every day I wake up with so much joy. I'm so thankful for everything. Growing up with a hard childhood, like not having a room till I was in middle school, bro. Nowadays I'm like, bro, look at this. I got a Keurig with freaking coffee pods. You know what I mean? I got a dog that eats brand name food. You know what I mean? Everything is so special to me now. Everything tastes good. Everything is amazing. I look at my marriage. I look at the way I'm raising my kids. I have no complaints, dude. And all because why? Because I decided that everything that negative happened in my life was all a lesson.
Amen to that. And that's how we're going to end it. That was good. My brother, I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
You gave me all these gifts. Yeah. You flew down here. We had a great conversation. I don't know, 2+ hours. And I want to let you know that we appreciate you and keep making shit happen, bro.
We're going to, dude.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
Stop, bro.
Thank you guys for listening. And by the way, I do have a cookbook out with a bunch of healthy Mexican food recipes, like real authentic Mexican food. So if you guys want to go check out that cookbook, the link is posted on my bio.
My brother. And we're about to eat some tacos. Let's go. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss our weekly episodes. Let's go, baby.